versus Allstate pay per mile customers who drive an average of 4,000 miles a year. Savings vary subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates. Copyright 2020 Allstate Insurance Company.
Wendy's is dropping the hammer with 2 made-to-order breakfast sandwiches for just $4. So if you've been wronged by pre-made breakfast and their frozen folded eggs and rubbery microwaved bacon, get to Wendy's and get the breakfast you deserve. Like the honey butter chicken biscuit, classic bacon, egg, and cheese, and the classic sausage, egg, and cheese. Choose any 2 of them for just $4. Justice is served. Only at Wendy's. We got you.
Offer valid for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. Single item at regular price.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
One of you cover this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store.
Sorry,
To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who experience occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort? Join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up and see how healthy your gut can feel. Align contains a quality probiotic strain developed by gastroenterologists. It adds more good bacteria to your gut to naturally help soothe your occasional digestive upsets with continued daily usage. This is the time to join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Sign up at alignprobiotics.com.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
It's crunchy!
Creamy!
Sweet.
Salty. Nature Valley sweet and salty peanut bars, bursting with crunchy peanuts, dipped in creamy nut butter coating.
Delicious.
Nature Valley.
The radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey.
With in front, deflected, they score!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
As we launch a Tuesday edition of the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. Mike and Brodes, what's going on, everybody? There we go. Streaming live. Watch the show on our website, 973ESPN.com. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, on the free mobile app. We got Sixers back tonight. Interesting game. I know you are jacked up for this game. Like, you really want to see the bounce back tonight.
Yeah, I do. Not that I think it means the end of the world if it doesn't go smoothly, but I'm curious how they bounce back.
No, it's definitely like you have to find some things in the regular season to care about. You can't just say, I don't care about anything. You got to find some things that, like, are things that you can learn from about the team.
Yeah.
And I think tonight is fair to say this could be one of those nights. Now, if they lose this game by 50, that doesn't mean they couldn't win a game in April against the same team. I hate when people think, they lose by 50. Okay, you lost by 50 on Tuesday night in February. Tonight is really a Tuesday night in February. But it is interesting to see how they bounce back, and all that stuff. I hate as sports fans, we've gotten to this point where nothing matters except for only the most important games.
Right.
That's what bothers me about sports now.
Yeah, you got to find that happy medium. Like, I'm almost rooting for the Toronto Raptors to do the same thing, for the Sixers to get the same looks, just to see if it was one of those nights where they couldn't buy a bucket. Like, let's say they bring 2-3 guys on Embiid every time he comes up the floor, which I'd imagine they will until the Sixers start making their shots. But I almost want to see. I want to see Tobias Harris gets 5 more threes in the first quarter. Does he hit 3 of them? And if he hits 3 of them, is that now what changes the Raptors' philosophy defensively?
That's the thing that is so, what has, about sports nowadays, bros, is one night you're going to hit 3 threes. That doesn't mean the next night you're going to hit 3 threes. So it's like, well, hit 3 threes. That changes the whole thing. And it does. But just because they answered tonight doesn't mean that they're going to answer the same way if they played against each other in a 7-game series in April.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why I just got to play the percentage game. Like, if this plays out 5 times this way, if you win 3 or 4 of those 5, that's what would make you feel more comfortable.
Well, for instance, there's many times that we see during the regular season in years past where, like, the Atlanta Hawks had beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers all 4 times they played in the regular season. And then when they got to the playoffs and things mattered, LeBron James, they beat those Hawks teams that had like Al Horford, that 60-win Hawks team that nobody believed in, even though they had won the regular season series against the Cavs. Nobody thought they were going to win a playoff series against the Cavs. And it's like the Sixers, they kind of dominated the Celtics last year in the regular season. You remember they beat them on opening night. They beat them a couple times, and then they got to the playoffs and they got swept. Right. So it's like, what did we really learn? So that's really a question like that I am always interested to hear from fans and listeners out there is, what do you guys take from these regular seasons anymore? Like, I don't want to say they're meaningless, but man, I do find myself so less invested in like the journey.
But isn't that the nature of the league? Like, I always think that there's tiers that you're in. And once you become a tier in the NBA of championship level squad, the regular season becomes irrelevant. But when you're but when you're in that phase of Joel Embiid, first season, 28 wins they had that year, that's one where you embrace the journey, you're excited. It's almost as if you don't have NBA title or NBA championship thoughts, it's more entertaining to go through the 82. But if you're in a championship mode or bust, the 82 becomes irrelevant.
Dude, I'm telling you, you just said it perfectly, man. I enjoyed every night of the process years. I loved watching those games. I loved looking for diamonds in the rough. I loved looking for guys that I was like, can this guy be a contributor? Is he a player that could be a part of the team when they're ready to take that next step? I loved watching the process. You know what made me sad was realizing we are now like 7 years past when that whole thing started. And the funny part is there are people out there that thought the Sixers actually lost for 7 years on purpose.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's only 7 years since the process actually launched. I mean, it was the 2013-2014 season. So somehow they lost for 10 years in a row. And I never understood how anybody got that math put together. But I had so much more fun watching those seasons than I do now. And I enjoy because it's like, I know you're going to get to the playoffs, and it's like, I can't take anything that I see on one night and then translate it to another and make an assertion of who you are.
I'm right there with you. I'm stuck in that. I know. I'm with you. It definitely takes away the joy.
It wasn't like that. You were on the journey.
Right. But isn't that just becoming that's you starting that knowledge of what it's like to be a fan, and then as we get older, and it does matter though where you are.
Because there's a lot of old heads that get irrational on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah,
that scream at the TV and think that everything's horrible and they stink and not enough energy and not enough jam. It's like, calm down, dude. They play 82 games. Like, they're not going to bring it every night. But when you're younger, you think that they should do that, and then you kind of realize, you can't do that. It's like knowledge is power. We have too much knowledge, and it's killing sports.
Yeah, the analytical approach, if you will.
Well, it's not even so much. Well, I mean, the analytical thing, that's a whole nother angle, but it's just the realization that my team might lose on Tuesday night to the Chicago Bulls and that it really doesn't matter. But, before you had like this, like you lost to the Bulls, which means if you can't beat the Bulls, then really, how could you beat this team? And now you realize, well, bad teams, you lose, they win games too.
The Lakers, they lost yesterday to the Washington Wizards in overtime. Now Anthony Davis isn't there, and the Wizards are actually on a nice couple-game win streak. But my point is, this Lakers team is 22-10, and the Wizards are 11-17. I mean, you're right. Bad team. If you look at the end of the season and you go down to the bottom of the barrel, those teams that stink, they still have wins. They have to beat someone, and they're not just beating each other. Sometimes that better team doesn't come to play because they figured they'd walk all over him. How does that relate to round 2 against the Miami Heat? It doesn't. It doesn't whatsoever. Anything that happens in these losses when you're playing Miami and Eric Spoelstra is going head-to-head with Doc Rivers and you're making adjustments based off of Game 2 and Game 3 and Game 4, what happened on that random night, it's just so irrelevant. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's where it is, but I don't know how we change that.
I don't either, and I would love to change it. Like, I want to be as, like, geared up for this game. Like, it's Sixers, and this Raptors team's 500. I mean, it's not like you're playing some elite team here. You're playing a 500 team. They're a game over 500. And it's like, we're using this game as a possible measuring stick of who you are. Like, that's how far we've fallen as sports fans somehow.
Well, to be fair, they started out so putrid. The Raptors are actually playing some really hot basketball as of late. So I don't think their record tells exactly who they are.
Yeah, but are they really a team that we think is an NBA championship team? Like, their best player is Fred VanVleet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, no,
and he's a good player, but like
they're in that Pacers category.
Yes, they're in that. Like, they got Lowry and VanVleet. Like, they're a step back to where they were a couple of years ago when they had Lowry and DeRozan. They might even be a little bit below where they were with that. Like, DeRozan's probably better than, I don't know. I mean, now they have Siakam, who's struggling a little bit this year.
I think they're a more complete team, but they had the two better players were Lowry and DeRozan.
And they have guys who were a part of that championship team, so they got that going for them. But I don't know. How many teams in the East do you think are legit?
I think you have the Brooklyn Nets. I think you have the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think you have the Philadelphia 76ers. I think those are your top squads. Now, Bleacher.
Wait, whoa. You're leaving out the.
Am I missing one?
You're leaving out the Heat?
Yeah, I don't think that they're a serious.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. I think last year was a product of the environment, with all due respect. And I know this year they had some issues with COVID-19, and Jimmy Butler had to sit out a bunch of weeks, and they had a mess. So that definitely plays a role in where they're at. But I didn't think last. Yeah,
7 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't think they don't scream legit insane contender to me.
Okay.
Maybe I'm being biased based off of their, they are
the defending Eastern Conference champions. I mean, there's something there. So you got Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. They're the three.
Yes.
Indiana, Toronto, Boston. Right now, the Knicks are 7. The Bulls are 8. Charlotte is 9. Miami is 10. How about the Hawks? I thought that team was going to be a lot better. I'm a little surprised that they haven't. Now, they've had some injury issues, but I thought they were ready to kind of at least turn that playoff corner a little bit here. Man, look at Orlando. They made the playoffs last year. See what happens when you lose Fultz?
Is that what it is? Just Fultz?
They lost Fultz, and now they're 13 and 18.
I think they lost a couple. Aaron Gordon, I think, is out, right?
Yeah. Fultz is the difference, although they've won 3 in a row. Washington won 5 in a row, by the way.
Yeah, they did. That's what I was saying with the Lakers game. They put together a nice little streak, but they still stink.
Yeah, so coming up, the Sixers play Toronto tonight, and we talked a lot yesterday about getting Kyle Lowry. Over on our website, 973ESPN.com, check out the story from Paul Hudrick, because he writes, it's an interesting conversation about a major move or just a bench tweak. Like, what is the best avenue for this team? And I got to be honest, with what you just said, Milwaukee and Brooklyn and Philly, I think a major move if you want to win. You still need a major move, I think, if you want to win the championship. Do you?
Yeah,
like you can't like just getting a bench tweak. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. And it's like, is now the time to make that aggressive move? Like everybody, like somebody just said a message on the stream and said the process was a success, that Embiid will be the league MVP. You don't have to argue with me about the process being a success. I have always thought it was a success, but to really maximize these guys, Simmons and Embiid, like you have to go for it when you have your chance. And I think now is your chance. And that might mean you have to make an irrational move.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about is, because I was thinking about this last night, how much you have to give up to get Kyle Lowry. And let's say your starting 5 is Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Kyle Lowry, Seth Curry, Tobias, and Embiid. Your bench is what? Because let's say Shake Milton goes in the deal. Now your bench is Matisse Thybulle, Furkan Korkmaz, Dwight Howard, Tyrese Maxey. Is that bench good enough? And you brought up being the Brooklyn Nets. Adding Kyle Lowry and your bench now becoming Matisse Thybulle, Furkan Korkmaz, Dwight Howard, and Tyrese Maxey.
Not good enough.
Is that a good? No, it's not. So is it worth packaging all that up to go get Kyle Lowry? Does that move this team in the direction enough for you to go out and do that?
That's the rub, man. That's the rub is getting like, okay, if you have Kyle Lowry, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, is that group enough firepower to beat Durant, Harden, Kyrie?
It's the best. It can give a run for its money.
Best?
Yeah.
Is there a better
in the East?
Is there a better option than Kyle Lowry?
Oh, sure. I bet realistically, though, I think that's your best option. Realistically, as if you're not going to go out there and pull a Bradley Beal or something right now and trade Ben Simmons and do all that.
I think that ship has sailed.
I agree.
The whole we're moving Ben Simmons and altering the entire, I think that they have watched this team and now said, all right, we can win with these two guys together. Now we got to find the right complementary piece to them. What is the right complementary piece to and that, like, they had Allen Iverson for all those years and could never find the right complementary piece. Now they have these two guys, and it's like we just can't seem to figure out what the right third piece is to go with those two guys. Is it Tobias Harris? Fine, but we're still a little short. So what's the next piece that fits with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and is attainable for a price that I can afford?
Yeah, there's something that tells me while they're close, and I know when you are close, you pounce on any opportunity that you have because you see what happened with the Raptors, and they made a decision to go out and get Kawhi, and that gamble paid off. But something tells me that this year isn't the all-in year. And I know that Daryl Morey sees it differently considering his statements, but something tells me this season, even though they're at the top and they're in the conversation with the Nets and the Bucks, and there's not a true powerhouse, something tells me I need to, like, if you give Daryl Morey next year, with the money coming off the books in Danny Green, Ferguson, and to have money to go out and maybe grab another player, I think I want to see that instead of making this knee-jerk reaction to just go get Kyle Lowry. But I'm conflicted because I know there's no true powerhouse in the East.
You know, the whole thing about the process that was enjoyable was you were building a team from the ground up, essentially. And what is the most enjoyable part about sports now? It's almost the offseason, building and reconfiguring and fixing your team. Look at the Eagles right now. This offseason is highly anticipated because you've now got to start over. And that is what is the most enjoyable. I don't know about you, but for me, that's almost become the most enjoyable part about sports is rebuilding the whole thing back up and starting over.
Yeah, it's not the most because that means you're in a spot where you kind of have to mix around some things. So it's not what I root for, but when it does happen, I'm fascinated on how they do it.
But you're, like I'm saying, you're more entertained by, are they going to go after this guy? What are they going to do here? Who are they going to cut? What are they going to trade? What trade are they going to make? What are they going to sign? But, you know, like, rather than watching the actual game and then they win and you're like, okay, they won, or they lose and I don't really care that they lost.
It's more conversational, for sure.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, it opens up dialogue.
But, like, that whole thing is, like, I still see these people who go crazy on a night-to-night basis, and I admire them to some extent, is that they can still be so passionate about losing a game on Tuesday, and then they win the next night, and it's almost as if Tuesday never happened, and then they're excited again, and then they lose on Friday, then they win 3 in a row, and you forgot that they lost on Friday because they won 3 straight.
It is crazy, though, how there is always that one game, though. Like, for me, someone who, I don't overreact, but I talk about each game, but I don't overreact and make the statement long-term based off of what happens. But there is, in 82, there is always that 3, 4, 5 games that either brings your energy really up. Like if they beat the Celtics and it comes down to a buzzer beater, we come in the next day. Like when they beat the Lakers, that was a high of a regular season win. There's always those 1 or 2 that do stand out for some reason over the others in the measuring stick games where we do put a little more juice into it for some reason.
The Cavaliers have lost 10 straight games. And the fact that you lost to them at one point. See, like, all right, for example, last season's Eagles team that went 9-7, not this past season, the one before that, I had believed in them. Why? All right. We would battle back and forth about how could, I don't believe in this team. I haven't seen anything. And I disagreed. I said, I believe in this team. Why? Because I saw them go on the road and beat Green Bay. Green Bay was a solid team. I went on the road and won that game. That showed me the ceiling of the team, that they could raise their level of play and get there. So for football, like my measuring point is, wow, I'm good enough that I can go beat that team on a given night. That tells me if I can beat them on a given night, I can beat someone who's the equivalent of them on a given night, which means I can compete, right? This Eagles team never had that game. They beat Buffalo that year too. They went on the road and crushed Buffalo. That Buffalo team ended up being pretty good. This team here, I could never believe in because I never saw them raise the level of they got up to this point here. So I know it was in them. It was never in them. They never got up to this point. Basketball is different because you could lose to the Cavaliers and be like, happens. You could beat the Lakers and still feel not good enough.
Right. It's the product of the 16-game schedule compared to you play every 3 nights. There's a back-to-back thrown in there. One night your best guy isn't available. Like, yeah, the way that the schedule is set up totally changes things. Now, I did see this yesterday, and I pulled it up. Bleacher Report put out their power rankings. All right. Do you want to take a wild guess on where the 76ers landed in this power rankings? This came out yesterday.
All right, so that's a good question. Let me look. I would say they would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so they were 5 last week, and they got pushed back to 6th this week. So they're in the top. Yeah, they're in that top range.
So it's Utah.
They actually had Brooklyn at number 1.
They're going Brooklyn.
Utah number 2.
All right, so Utah 2, Brooklyn 1, Utah 2, Lakers 3.
No, they went Phoenix Suns 3. They went Phoenix
Suns.
Suns
9 out of 10.
3. Yeah, so they're riding a hot streak.
And you got no
right
AD.
Right.
So then the Lakers.
Clippers.
Then the Lakers.
Then the Lakers. Then the Sixers. And then following the Sixers, I always find interesting, the San Antonio Spurs.
Interesting.
Then they went Portland at 8. Milwaukee at 9.
Man, Milwaukee is interesting.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's routinely been number 1 in these rankings for like 2 years now.
Yeah, and then the top 10 finishes off with the Toronto Raptors. So that's kind of the way that they have it right now. And they always have some interesting ones thrown in there. But, yeah, look, if you look at the Sixers and say they're in that top 5 range, and that's where they're at, and then we can resurface that with the question, is it time for Daryl Morey to now just make that move? Or do you think that they wait? Is this season the season Daryl Morey needs to go all in and make that push for Kyle Lowry?
I think he does.
And,
I think he
how
has
about
to
this
go
question,
all
though?
in.
Is Kyle Lowry, all in. You go all in for Kyle Lowry. How much of a push does that put you forward? How big is that push?
Your point is valid that you don't want to deteriorate your bench to the point where you're now a 4-man team.
Your bench already stinks. Now it's going to be even worse. You could stagger Kyle Lowry to be the unit, second
unit guy. The thing that ticks me off, too, is to say that. Like, the fact that you can't play like 6-7 anymore. Like, you go back into the 90s and watch basketball games. They had no bench. They played 6 guys. There was 5 starters and a 6-man. That was the team. Now it's like, if you don't have 10 guys, it's like, for God's sakes, you need 10 guys. Play your guys. Get out there and play. You're in much better shape than these guys were back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And yet those guys played full games. No, they took 3
I don't have
minutes
an
off
issue.
here.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with 8 or 9. You know what I mean? I think having a reasonable 8 or 9, but I don't even think that's where the issues lie, though, right? I don't think we're complaining about man number 10. I think we're more complaining about 7. Like Korkmaz is almost 7 now. That's
the problem,
a problem.
right? Is that you have to go to 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 7, 8, 9, and 10 are no good.
Well, on
if
this
it
team
was
right
like
now,
1994, you would have a 6-man. He would play 25 minutes, and the other guys played 38 minutes.
But that's just the adapting of
I know.
sports,
I'm saying
yeah.
it's just that the fact that this has become a problem that you need to go that deep. They can't do it. They are not very good. 7, 8, 9, 10. And the fact that teams go that deep. I'm just saying, I don't know why.
But in the playoffs, realistically, I feel a good team probably goes 8, right? You got your 5, then you got your 6th man who logs in some minutes, and then 7, 8 get a handful. That's probably realistic.
Ike is watching on YouTube, says we are in the prime years for Embiid, and we can't waste these prime years, being that Embiid has injury histories. This team is missing a guard that can get buckets on their own and can shoot threes. I agree with the prime years of Embiid. The clock is ticking on how many prime years you're going to get from this guy playing at MVP level.
I just don't know if you wash out. If you look at Kyle Lowry, what he brings to the table, you look at what you have to trade to get him, are you making a significant jump enough to make this valuable? I would tend towards...
It's a hard one.
I know.
Is Lowry, a 34-year-old Kyle Lowry averaging 17 points a game, is he the guy that's the difference maker?
I think I would if...
Because at the end of the... Real quick, at the end of the series, if you get knocked out in the second round and you lose Lowry, you're thinking, man... Now, I don't think you're giving up all that much to get him. I mean, giving up Tyrese Maxey or Thibault, they're not like, wow, we gave up those guys. But, you You came up short, and that guy leaves.
Right. That's the problem. Like
Possibly. I mean,
Matisse Thybulle is a big part. Like, I think Matisse Thybulle is going to have a pretty solid role off the bench in these playoff moments. And if you take that away from next year's team, when you try and rebuild this thing, I'm not saying it's impossible to find another role for, someone who could play that role or play a different style of that role. But you lose that to just try and cash in on a Kyle Lowry. That's a big gamble. But I trust Daryl Morey to make the decision. That's the difference.
That's a big difference, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. Having trust.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Is that I think Daryl Morey, whatever movie he makes, is going to be with that in mind. That my guy's in his prime year, and I'm going for it. That's how I view it. That's why I feel pretty good about where they are. Chris Crawford's watching on YouTube. What's up, Chris? Chris just looks like the letter C with brown background and white C.
Well, that's because that's what the picture is.
Yeah, I would like to see a nice picture. Chris
Okay.
Crawford says, to me, Lowry doesn't move the needle to beat Brooklyn, Lakers, etc. So he's saying, don't even waste your time with Lowry. Doesn't move the needle.
It definitely helps. I lean towards doing it. Here's why. I'd rather swing and miss than look at one right down the pipe. Even though I do feel like, see, this is where I'm all conflicted because I like that idea. I like that concept. Swing and miss. If you swing and miss, at least you're swinging the bat and taking an attempt on it. But I just don't know if this year's the right year. And I know that's crazy because of the way Embiid's
I don't agree
playing.
with that.
Yeah, I think
got
they're
Embiid
1 year
playing
away.
at this level.
I know.
If he's the MVP of the league, that tells me right now hey, the leader is taking me to the water. Now I have to drink it.
But I almost feel like with the money coming off the books and Green, Ferguson, and having that
they
money.
can get better. You're right. They have the ability to get better. But I'm going to take a shot at getting 1, 2, 3, not 4, not 5. I'm taking my shots, man.
Yeah, but then if you lose, like you can have that shot and still keep Matisse or Shake, and that could be such an added bonus to the team next year with depth instead of losing one of those and then having to try and fill that again.
Tommy is watching on Facebook. Now, Tommy's got a nice picture. He's got the sailor's hat on. He's there with his beautiful bride. Good job, Tommy. I like that avatar. He says, if Ben keeps being aggressive like he was the last 2 games, to think that you will have to help or hurt his chemistry, do you think that will help or hurt his chemistry with Embiid? Because they've been playing without each other. Now, the last game they played with each other and they lost.
Well, another thing to factor in, now, I don't think they played long enough, but add Kyle Lowry to the mix. How are you going to find the right way to distribute the ball between him, Tobias, Ben, Joel? Now you got to add in like another serious player to this flow of the offense.
Now, over on the Twitter page, text board, Dan from EHC says, Curry is terrible. Was he adopted? He can't be a blood Curry. Wow. This is harsh.
Well, I did feel that the reaction in the beginning of him shooting 62%, people felt like that's who he was. It's like, go do some research. He's 45, which is fantastic. He was shooting 62% for like the first big chunk of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's as drastic as like Jason and Jeremy Giambi. Like, he's much better as the second brother than the Giambi brothers or the DiCecco brothers or the Ripken brothers. Curry's not as good as Steph Curry, but he's a serviceable player on a team that can win. He can have a role. The question is his role on this team too big? Is his role on this team too important? There was a time where we thought maybe he was the second guy. You regret that?
No, because in terms of spacing, it makes sense. Not so much like the Robin, I need to go get a bucket, but in terms of how the offense rolls with such a big floor spacer, I think it's still valid. No, I don't take that back at all.
All right. I'll let you hold on to that.
You said it too, by the way.
Not the second guy.
What?
Sports Bash brought to you by Matt Blatt Nissan. The all-new Matt Blatt. I'm never wrong. It's now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. Next to Home Depot. Online, mattblattnissan.com. We invite you to watch the show on our website, 97.3, ESPN.com. When you go to the website, you'll see it right there in the middle. It says, watch the Sports Bash live. Click on that. It'll take you to the video stream. And you can watch the show and be a part of the show, just like all the people that are commenting right now. We'll get to more of your comments coming up. We'll get to your texts. We've got a great show for you today. Jeff Nadu, MKB, Andrew DiCecco, and the PT. All coming up today on The Bash.
Turn it on. Leave it on. The Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
If you're very quiet, you can hear it. The joy, the freedom, the crunch from 100% whole grain oats. Stay outside longer with Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Granola Bars. We are better outside.
On some models excludes Corvette. With GMF financing. Excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
It's President's Day all month long at Bennett Chevrolet with our biggest, boldest, best deals ever. Saving you up to 25% off MSRP on brand new vehicles. Right now, Bennett Chevy is selling brand new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing. Plus, you keep all the rebates that can save you as much as 25% off MSRP. But there's even more ways to save with 0% financing available. Plus, if you're looking for pre-owned, Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's a minimum $7,000 for your trade, no matter its condition. Imagine how much more you'll get for a good trade. And once you've dealt with our non-commissioned sales team, you'll rave about the wonderful experience with no need to negotiate and no hassles, because our team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's President's Day all this month at Bennett. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER, or visit iloveLyleback.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning makes it easy to upgrade to the most energy-efficient equipment. And for a limited time, Broadleys is giving you a free furnace with the purchase of a high-efficiency AC system. 0% financing and rebates from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. And its clean energy program mean even greater savings. Don't miss out on Broadleys' free furnace frenzy. Certain restrictions apply. Call Broadleys at 609-390-3907 or visit broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? Mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 973ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
Mike and Brodes, taking you until 6 tonight. What's going on? It's a busy show. Jeff Nadu at 3, MKB inside the Sixers, 3:20. Football at 4 with DiCecco, and Pete Thompson today at 4:30 for a little Tuesday with Thompson. Sports Bash is brought to you by AmeriSave Mortgage. Lower mortgage rates means more savings. Find out more at AmeriSave.com. If you're watching the show live at 97.3ESPN.com, we've got a lot of great comments on our conversation. Let's bring in Tom, who says, thank you, Chris. Exact point I've been drilling into my friend's head who wants them to trade for another star. I want the Sixers to win it all, but I don't know if a big trade moves the needle to beat the Nets and the Lakers. So even getting like a Kyle Lowry, he's agreeing with Chris, who messaged us before and said, I don't think Lowry moves the needle. So he's saying essentially, I think what Tom and Chris are saying, unless you get someone like a Bradley Beal, the problem is to get that player, you need to give up Ben Simmons, and that changes the whole dynamic. I don't know that just getting Bradley Beal and swapping out Ben Simmons keeps you good enough. Like if it's Bradley Beal, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid, is that good enough? Or is Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris? You know what I'm saying?
The problem is I don't know what Bradley Beal would be like with Joel Embiid.
Good. Very good.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying how much better will he be this? Will he be better? Will Joel Embiid open or will Joel Embiid take away shots of his where it won't allow him to be, that production level? Like, what if you have one of those nights where Bradley Beal's dropping 45? You know what I mean? Like, how would it look? I don't know. You're taking away a lot of shots from Embiid, and that was always the thing with James Harden, and that's not to say this wouldn't work. I'm just curious. I don't know what it would look like, though. I really just don't know how lethal it can be. Can it be amazing, or can it just be great? Because there's two different things here.
Yeah, that's what Daryl Morey has to kind of try to figure out is, do Joel and Ben complement each other well enough? And a lot of people think they can't even play together, let alone complement each other well enough to tweak. These are two guys who played together for 4 years now. Do I disrupt that and bring in a totally new guy when my guy is playing at an MVP level? That's what you kind of have to balance right now. It's a tough decision to make. Like if I'm Daryl Morey and the Wizards call and say, you know what, we've changed our mind. We're ready to trade Beal. We'll take Simmons because Simmons is playing really well right now. You know what? We want to build around him. We love what he's doing. We'll give you Bradley Beal. If you're Daryl Morey, how do you take that in?
I don't think that he does it because I think if you weigh the two options, and I think you made a magnificent point. If you swap Ben for Bradley Beal, and this is coming from a guy who wanted it a few months back when we saw Ben Simmons come out to this really slow start, are you just in the same category again? Does this really push the pile to you in another tier, or are you in the same exact tier?
That's what I'm saying. If you just swap Ben for Beal, are you in the same level of where you were? You're very good. You still need another piece.
Yeah, you're probably in that same. But James Harden, I think you now add another layer of what you were. Like if you get James Harden instead of Ben, I think you're in this different category. I think you jump up a bit.
Well, you're not getting.
No, I know. I'm just saying hypothetically, if you were to trade for Harden, that would be something that does change where you're at to the next level.
See, the problem
I think you're in the same category.
The problem I would have with Harden, and I brought this up after. He is just so bad defensively. I know he's gotten better, but I don't know how the Nets, they're going to have to outgun you. They have the firepower to do it. I don't know that the Sixers would have the firepower to allow for his defense to be what it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, it changes the dynamic of the team offensively, though. If Embiid is a walking bucket like he is this season, and James Harden's a walking bucket, and you gotta collapse on those two, Seth Curry, Danny Green. It's the same thing with spacing with Ben. How much does that open up the floor game for these guys to be able to make shots? Ben allows them to make shots. Well, will Joel's dominance and Harden's dominance, would that also allow Seth Curry to thrive?
Greg McQuaid says the Raptors do shockingly well when Lowry doesn't play. Concern?
I think they won their last 16 games without Kyle Lowry.
You remember the run they went on without Kawhi Leonard the year that he was with them and he would load manage. They were like 25-2 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it just talks about the team commitment that they have. You know, they have this great team commitment that they can still win basketball games without their guys in regular season play, which is a huge difference.
Here's another one. Simmons for Beal, find a real point guard. Now, the problem with that is at this stage of the season, where are you finding a real point guard?
Yeah, what does that even
make
mean?
That trade and then say, who's running the offense for you? Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey?
No on both of those. Now, what if you make that move for Bradley Beal, then you go get Kyle Lowry? Now, is he your primary point guard? Lowry, Beal, Seth, Tobias, Embiid? Is that what it would be?
So you're giving up Simmons to get Beal, and you probably have to
make that push for Kyle Lowry. But now it's like, hey, guys.
No, that's something that's intriguing.
Here's
you're making 40, a double disco.
Right. But is it go back to back in the day when Brett Brown was handed Tobias, Jimmy Butler with 20, 30 games left in the season? Go make it work. Well, it's hard in 20, 30 games to go make it work. Are you changing too much at that point where now your team is just not even close to the same team anymore. You changed so much. What is fair to expect from Doc Rivers to make this all magically just fly easily?
It's fair, but they were a bounce away from going to overtime in that game against a team that ended up winning the championship.
Yeah.
So I take my shot if I can do that, I think. Although, again, I'm not thrilled about trading Ben Simmons at this point.
If you're telling me, though, Kyle Lowry, Bradley Beal, Joel Tobias.
Because I only have Lowry at 34 years old for one season, possibly. And even if I have him for more, I'm getting him at age 35, 36, 37.
There's still something left in the tank.
Not that there's not something left in the tank, but now I'm losing Ben Simmons in his age 25, 26, 27, 28.
But I wouldn't look at it from a Lowry situation, because that's more of moving on from Danny Green and whatnot. I would look at it from a Bradley Beal situation, because that would be the swap, and he's 27 years old. So you might lose Ben for that age, but you're also gaining Bradley Beal in that age bracket as well, 27, 28, 29, 30. So the swap would be...
Right, but then I'm right back to the same problem. I'm going to lose Lowry possibly, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm still a man short.
Right, the Lowry situation then opens up is it worth going after one guy for 1 year and make that playoff push to the extreme this upcoming season?
Lowry and Beal both are a total of $59 million. You're going to have to move a lot of contracts to get those two guys in here.
Well, it would already take a lot just for Kyle Lowry in itself. So then you'd have to figure out the Bradley Beal for Ben Simmons. Obviously, this hypothetical got thrown around a little bit. But yeah, the financial stuff would be a problem.
Here's a text message. Says, can Lowry shore up the second unit so there's not such a plus-minus drop-off? If so, who would replace Danny and Shake?
Well, Danny Green would have to go in the Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, we
deal.
figured this out yesterday, that I don't know that there's a way you could trade for Kyle Lowry without including Danny Green. Right?
I feel like it's impossible, yeah.
Josh is saying there is no way you could get Lowry here. Lowry makes like $30 million. Danny Green makes half that.
Yep, 15.
So you have to get Danny plus. There's no way you can, unless you're trading Ben Simmons, and that ain't happening.
No, I remember the package was similar yesterday, because you got to throw in something that it would intrigue them. So it would be something similar to Danny Green, Mike Scott, Poirier, Tony Bradley, and a Shake Milton. You have to give up like 5 guys for this one.
Yeah. Come on, Gill. We are good enough. Nets don't play D. Maybe not enough to beat the Lakers, but we are going to the ship.
It's a little too optimistic.
I didn't say we're not good enough. I'm asking, are the Sixers the favorites if they get Lowry? Does that make them the clear favorites? The Nets don't play D, but I don't know that the Sixers have enough firepower to win a game with them 127 to 124.
Does that mean, does that make me a bad person to hear that and go, that's too optimistic for me? Shouldn't I? We talked about in the beginning the fandom and how it changed and how you're supposed to enjoy the ride and be optimistic. Here's someone who is very optimistic, and I go, you know what? You're too optimistic for me. There's no reason to think that way. I feel like that makes me a bad person. I am part of the problem.
I think that everybody feels the way they want to feel about where this team is. I have felt that this team, when Joel Embiid was ready, that he is, and I've been saying this for years, Joel Embiid is talented enough to be the best player on the best team. I think we're seeing him in the first year of that. I'm ready to be the best player on the best team. That doesn't mean he's going to win the championship, but I think that makes them a legitimate championship team. The last 4 years, I have not felt that they were a legitimate championship team, because I did not feel that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid collectively or individually were ready to lead them to a championship. Now, I feel that two things, that Joel Embiid is there. I think he's at the first year of being ready to win a championship. Now, does he have enough around him? Are we watching Ben Simmons right before our very eyes mature?
I do think so. Yeah, I think that there's a lot into that. You're seeing that with the Sam Cassell angle of it, with working on his shot. Shooting 80% from the free throw line in any stretch was something that I haven't seen in forever, ever, when it comes to Ben Simmons. So I do think that that's a huge part to this when it comes to Ben Simmons' game. By the way, we do have a little bit of breaking news in the sports world. Do you see what's going on with Tiger Woods right now?
I did. I've actually just got a text message here. Tiger Woods has been in a car accident and apparently 2 broken legs out in L.A.
Yeah, so apparently this is pretty bad. So just prayers
to
Tiger Woods.
Car crash.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look to be a good situation here. So just prayers to Tiger Woods. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Puts it in perspective here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of seeing that come through, and I just got a couple people text me. In fact, somebody that I know says I'm 5 minutes from where the crash is.
Wow.
Maybe he can walk over there and confirm that for us. But yeah, I am seeing that in a lot of different places right now. 609-403-0973. A couple other text messages coming in. I'm just enjoying the Sixers season because there's such great optimism presently and into the future. Yeah, last season was miserable to watch. And you felt that you were going to be stuck with that group for a while, right? You had Horford. You weren't getting out of that contract. You had Josh Richardson. I wasn't a big Josh Richardson fan. Like, that was meh. And that Tobias Harris contract, the way he was playing, looked terrible. Still doesn't look great, but at least he's giving you some value for that contract now. Not full value.
Not full value, but serviceable value. You know, like if Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons play the way that they are capable of playing at the highest point of their ability, then that Tobias Harris contract isn't a big deal. It comes down to Joel and Ben. If those two play the right way and play the way they need to, that Tobias Harris contract isn't the talk of town.
Well, the question that I just kind of threw your way is Ben Simmons kind of evolving his offensive game in the season right now? Like sometimes like, oh, let's see what he comes out of the offseason. Is he now evolving his offense right before our very eyes in season? You guys can get involved. Watch the show live. 973ESPN.com. It's easy. Just go to the website, click on the Watch Sports Bash Live link, and you can watch the Sports Bash on your phone, your television, wherever you may be, your laptop. You can always listen to us, of course, on the free mobile app. Download the app and watch the show on your phone. We got a lot of comments coming in on the stream. Chris Crawford says, we have to keep Ben at this point. To me, Bradley Beal is a great player on a bad team, putting up ridiculous numbers. If he came to Philly, he would be great, but the numbers would go down a lot. There's another guy who I think I'm ready to say he's the best player on a bad team. You know who I'm talking about? Of course you don't, because I didn't tell you. But I will coming up next. Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Euro steps by him and scores it up and good. What a move. Are you kidding me?
The Sixers are in Tampa to face the Raptors. Tonight, coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
This month, let me offer you some presidential advice. Leave me, your dollar in your wallet when you get 0% APR financing from Matt Blatt Kia.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage, K5, and Forte models. Or take $4,000 off MSRP on new 2020 Kia Niros in stock. Plus Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers approved Tier 1 and 2 credit for Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 for 1,000 par. 4,000 all 2020 euros with 2,500 Kia Motors factory rebate to dealer. 1,500 Matt Blatt Kia discount. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2021.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
If you're an athlete or live an active lifestyle, aches and pains can be part of the game. That's where Trifecta Therapeutics comes into play. Trifecta Therapeutics is a premier sports rehabilitation physical therapy center located centrally for anyone in South Jersey, right in Glassboro. Their team of the highest skilled docs takes a unique approach to physical therapy and rehab, whether you're a weekend warrior or a finely tuned athlete. They treat the pros and the Joes. To find out more about Trifecta Therapeutics and how they can help you, check out trifectatherapeutics.com.
Call 1-888-FARMERS to switch, and you could save an average of $470 on your auto insurance. That's a lot of money in just a few minutes. With savings like that, you could be lounging on an impractical amount of ornate and overpriced throw pillows you bought for your couch. But you won't, because you're better with money than that. That's why you're calling us in the first place. Call 1-888-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Based on average nationwide annual savings survey data July to December 2020, underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Gary is refinancing his home, so he shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting him up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision he'll never regret, unlike taking that gig in the testing lab at the deodorant company.
Raise your arm, please.
Oh, man, I hate this job.
Pretty regrettable, Gary. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
The following is a paid announcement. The advertiser was paid a marketing fee for a digital campaign. Please make sure to review our disclaimer on our report page.
The new year is here, and the time is now to capitalize on the EV stocks boom in the U.S. markets. Text the word trade to 48542. Here's a great opportunity that we've uncovered in the electronic vehicle space, and it's a great time to explore the massive profit potential of the EV sector with your free subscription to Energy Market Today. When you text the word trade to 48542, the world is scrambling for sufficient nickel and lithium supply for the EV industry. We've identified a company that could be well positioned as the EV market drives demand for these materials. According to analysts, total EV sales are expected to grow from approximately 2.5 million units in 2020 to around 11.2 million units in 2025, then reach about 31.1 million vehicles sold worldwide by 2030. Get your free subscription to Energy Market Today when you text the word trade to 48542. Text the word trade to 48542.
This season's hottest collection is dropping just in time for lunch. Meat Church's new all-white meat Texas tenders, accessorized with butterfly shrimp. Snag your Texas tenders and shrimp meal for just $5. Church's bringing that down-home flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, welcome back to Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. Some sad news. Yeah, that Tiger Woods story is now confirmed, and it does not look good, Brodes. His car is off the side of the road, major rollover. If you're on Twitter, you could see the pictures and videos of Tiger, and they had to extract him with the jaws of life. So prayers to Tiger Woods. It's 8 o'clock in the morning out there, so this is happening, or I guess it happened at 8 o'clock in the morning. It happened around 11 o'clock, I guess, this afternoon or something, but some really frightening news to see Tiger. And, you know, when we always talk about these great athletes and people, I always look at a couple of guys. Tiger Woods is right on the tip of my tongue all the time. Jordan, Mike Tyson. Those are three guys to me, when I was growing up, epitomized sports. You could say Tiger, Tyson, Jordan. Boom. And those guys were the top of the game.
Yeah, I mean, even for my lifetime as well, even being a little bit younger, Tiger's one that is huge in my upbringing. Tyson, not so much. That wasn't really part of, the era of when I was kicking it. But, yeah, for sure, Tiger. I mean, but that just shows how dominant he really was. The fact that he kind of went through everyone's tenure in life seemed to have Tiger Woods be at the top of every single tournament he played in every single weekend. He was unbeatable. So his name is always on the tip of everyone's.
Yeah, I just hope that, we're not talking about life-threatening situations here, but you get the jaws of life to extract you out of there. It seems like some major injuries for Tiger. If we get new news, we'll update you there here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. A lot of people getting involved that we're talking a lot about this Sixers team. Look, this is a game that, I know, Brodes, you have kind of been saying you want to see how they bounce back tonight. What looks different, how they kind of change. So this is kind of like, I don't say a measuring stick game for you, but it's a game. It's a regular season game that you are actually going to take something out of.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see if the Raptors bring the same exact looks and if the Sixers get the same exact looks. Will tonight be differently just based off of execution?
Now, what if they don't? What if they just don't hit shots again tonight, but they're there? The open looks are there. Like, hey, we're going to defend you this way until you make shots.
Yeah,
like
that's
if you are Doc Rivers and you're getting open three looks, but just not hitting them, do you change your?
Not yet, because that's only 2 games. Like, to say 2 games in a row you can be cold, that's fine. And then it comes down to, are you constantly having these problems? And then you start to maybe analyze, tweak some things, maybe attack the basket more, find easier buckets. But if it's 2 games is not a big enough sample size. I've seen Tobias Harris play well for 20-plus games this season to feel more comfortable saying that's who he is, more so than the version of Tobias that went 0 for 6 from
right.
3
So if they
first.
have another bad shooting night, it's like, okay, well, they had a bad shooting night.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Definitely.
There's always like a built-in something, though. That's the problem that I have. It's like, well, they had a bad shooting night. They got good looks. I don't mind if you get good looks and you're missing.
Well, someone reached out to me and said, I can't believe Doc Rivers didn't make an adjustment. Did he have to make an adjustment? They got wide open. Look, their basketball, the moving of the basketball was stellar in that game against the Raptors in game 1. They just missed shots. I don't really know. The adjustment was get Embiid to make sure he passes the ball out. He made the right counter move. The counter move was kick it to other guys. It just came down to execution, not schematics.
Oh, but, this was a similar situation in years past. Other teams, the Sixers got good looks. The problem was they didn't have good enough players to make those shots consistently. This team has better, Curry should be a better shooter. Green's a better shooter. Milton's a better shooter. You have guys. Last year, you're getting open looks with guys like Horford, not a great shooter, although he's shooting much better this year. Josh Richardson, not a great shooter. So you were getting open looks last year. And it's like, I can't ask for much more than giving me open looks. That's what they got the other night. They got open looks.
Yeah, they were more equipped. And another thing, though, they're more equipped now. Yeah, they're more equipped now. Another thing to look at is they're 5-25 against the Raptors in their last 30. How the hell is that possible? I know we sort of touched on it a little bit yesterday. 5-25 in their last 30. That's a good question.
That one series, they won 3.
Yeah, and that would be crazy. I'm not sure exactly. I would imagine that does include the playoffs, but I don't know. Maybe that's a regular season record. But regardless, if it is or isn't, that's still not good in their last 30 games against the Raptors. So why is this the issue that we're in? Why can't they get over the hump against this?
How many years does that go back? Like, does that include process years?
Right. I'd have to go back and find the fine print of the stat.
I would imagine if you're going back that far, they probably weren't beating them at all during the 13,
that's true. But
14.
even out of the most recent, when they did turn the page, they've had issues with this Raptors team.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. They definitely have. But to say 5-25, if that's not including playoffs, what are they over the last 2 seasons? Really, it's weird. The Sixers have had so many incarnations of their roster. How many different rosters have the Sixers had?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
For God's sakes, it was 3 different rosters in 1 year. They had they had Covington and Dario. They traded those guys away, got Jimmy Butler. Then they got Tobias Harris. So you had 3 different teams within 1 season.
It looks like it goes back to 2013 where this begins.
Okay, so that's what 2013 the start of the process.
Swept, 2014 swept, 2015 swept, 2016 1-3 was their record. 2017 1-3 was their record. And so this looks to be regular season games, but still bad. At the end of the day, it's
13, 14, 15, those 3 seasons there, you had a team that was not competitive.
They've been going 1-3 against the Raptors in the last 3 seasons in regular season.
Still not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough.
Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, you can watch the show live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com. Just go to the website, look for the Sports Bash Live link, click on that, and we'll take you to the live video. You can watch the show streaming live on your TV, your laptop, your computer, your phone, and you can do that every day right here on 97.3 ESPN. When we come back, Jeff Nadu will be on the Sports Bash. He'll take a look at some of the latest lines for the games tonight. We'll try to make you a couple of bucks in the college realm, the NBA, and that's all thanks to our friends at PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bet and take your profit. Find out how at PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. It's easy to do. Just take your ticket on that futures bet, that prop bet, and if you have great odds, you can sell that ticket at PropSwap.com. It's the best odds in the country. Right now, they got a Joel Embiid ticket for over 4-1. Great odds. It's the best odds in the country. I'd go buy that ticket right now because Joel Embiid could give you a huge return at 4-1 if he wins the MVP, because I don't know that you're going to get better odds than that at any point this season. So check them out at PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today.
Sign up now for this year's $1 Million Bracket Challenge. Registration is underway now at 973ESPN.com and the free mobile app until the tournament begins. The listener whose bracket has the most correct will win a $500 golden getaway in Atlantic City. Thanks to our friends at GoldenNuggetSports.com, and the top 20 listener brackets will receive a free bet at GoldenNuggetSports.com. So register for the $1 Million Bracket Challenge.
Hell yeah!
Now at 97.3ESPN.com or the free mobile app.
Must be 21 plus to place a bet. Only available in New Jersey. Free bets are for online sportsbook only. Please see website for terms and conditions.
National championship.
So head to 973ESPN.com for the free mobile app and register for the $1 million bracket.
On some models excludes Corvette. With GMF financing, excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
It's President's Day all month long at Bennett Chevrolet with our biggest, boldest, best deals ever, saving you up to 25% off MSRP on brand new vehicles. Right now, Bennett Chevy is selling brand new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing. Plus, you keep all the rebates that can save you as much as 25% off MSRP. But there's even more ways to save with 0% financing available. Plus, if you're looking for pre-owned, Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's a minimum $7,000 for your trade, no matter its condition. Imagine how much more you'll get for a good trade. And once you've dealt with our non-commissioned sales team, you'll rave about the wonderful experience with no need to negotiate and no hassles, because our team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's President's Day all this month at Bennett. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so their best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
Hey, it's Rick from upstairs. Yeah, I take it seriously. When I play R&B at 1 a.m, that's me saying, hey, I'm here for you. And I enjoy repetitive bass lines. I only use expired batteries in my smoke detectors. Nice, right? Yeah, upstairs neighbors help people forget their troubles. Give them something else to focus on. Ooh, want to see how high I can jump?
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor.
No, wait, let me try again.
But we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
The following is a paid announcement. The advertiser was paid a marketing fee for a digital campaign. Please make sure to review our disclaimer on our report page.
The new year is here, and the time is now to capitalize on the unprecedented boom in the U.S. markets. It's a modern-day green gold rush, as millions of people using CBD for panic and anxiety are searching for a safe anti-prescription remedy to alleviate stress. This market has a combined annualized growth rate of 52% and is projected to grow over $89 billion by 2026. That's why we want to send you a free subscription to Avid Market News Trends when you text the word green to 48542. Get this red-hot intelligence delivered directly to your mobile device so you can make decisions as market conditions change. We've identified a company that could put you in a prime position to profit from this modern-day green gold rush. Find out which companies are setting the standard when you text the word green to 48542 for your free subscription to Market News Trends. Text green to 48542.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square Media has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square Media. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
touchdown!
Sixers,
oh yeah,
and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square Media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, hour 2 of the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. What's going on, everybody? Mike Brodes taking you till 6. Jeff Nadu, our betting expert, is going to talk a little bit about the card tonight. maybe some other things. As he always likes to chime in on a Tuesday here. We get the early lines for tonight, the week. Of course, we do the weekend edition Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock here on 97.3 ESPN. The man's been red hot in the NBA, by the way. And he's brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bets, take your profit, find out how at PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. And he joins us now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline as we have a interesting couple games that we're going to get into, try to make the people out there a little cash, try to teach them something. What's up, Jeff?
How are you, Mike? Good to talk to you. Good to talk to you guys as always.
All is well. And I want to get your take. Do you have any idea why the NCAA tournament is playing games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday instead of starting on Thursday?
No, I have no idea. I don't, I don't know why you would screw with that. I feel like that's one of the great 4 days and the American calendar. No, I don't. I have zero idea. I think obviously it probably has to do with the fact that they're not traveling this year. So I guess that was the best way they thought of doing it. But no, it's definitely going to take some getting used to. I'm actually coming to Atlantic City for the tournament. So, it's really a question of, because I've always said being in Atlantic City the night before for the playing games is probably the best night because a lot of people aren't there yet. You can kind of move around and get stuff in, but I guess I'm going to kind of probably leave Sunday, but hopefully I don't have to worry. Hopefully I can just move down there soon. I won't have to worry about it, but yeah,
I ran into a real estate guy that you talked to the other night. He said, thanks for setting me up with your guy. I ran into that guy last night.
Maybe we can figure it out and work something out. But yeah, I've always said to you, Mike, that's my second home down there. I've been going there since I was, basically able to walk. So I think long-term is where I want to be. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I won't have to leave anytime soon.
All right. Well, let's see what's happening tonight. We got a couple of interesting games on the card, a couple college games, a couple pro games that I have some interest in as well. Got a couple games going on now, by the way, a couple live action games. But one game that I want to kind of zero in on, it's kind of a light card, but I know the Billikens, St. Louis 6 tonight. They'll take on VCU. That's St. Louis plus 3.5 right now. And I know this was a team that earlier in the year that you liked this Billikens team.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like about St. Louis. Both these teams are on the bubble. And around this time, even a week or two ago, you want to start looking at teams that need victories, teams that aren't going to get in. They could get in the conference tournament, but you want to get that at large opportunity. That way you don't have to necessarily win your conference tournament. And these are two teams that are both on that line. Now, VCU's in. I have them in the field, but St. Louis is not in the field. And they need a win in the worst way. On this card tonight, I'm not sure that there's a team that needs a win more because you look at coming up, they've got one other opportunity for a quality win, and that's against Richmond on Saturday. So this is a big-time opportunity, and there's a lot of things in this game, Mike, that I think from a VCU standpoint you have to be concerned with. VCU is going to be without Bones Highland, their best player tonight. He takes 32% of their shots, which is – that's top, I think, 60 in the country as far as players are concerned. He's very important to what they do on offense. He's also a big force in the defensive end. He's got a steal rate in the top 100 in America. He is very important, 19 points a game. This is a team that only scores about 72 a game. So they're going to need him. They're not going to have him tonight against a hungry team that really needs a W. And they're off a loss themselves, St. Louis. I think it's a pretty good spot. St. Louis has been disappointing at times, but they've been pretty good off of losses. I think this is a good spot. I always like fading teams in their first game with a big player out.
By the way, I said St. Louis was plus 3.5. They're actually minus 3.5. They opened up at +2, and that thing has changed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, makes sense. Makes sense for sure. Obviously, the news came out about Highland. He's, as far as the A-10 is concerned, as far as teams, he's probably the most important player to his team. He's just really kind of the straw that stirs them.
All right. It's a kind of a light college card, but another one that I feel like you would have some interest in is this Richmond UMass game. It's up to 9.5 in certain spots. I feel that's a pretty interesting number.
Yeah, Richmond, another team that's on the bubble. That's the kind of the story of the A-10 in this. That's kind of the story in the A-10 this year. Everybody's on the bubble. Richmond continues to disappoint. I actually bet them against VCU last week, lost, and then I had them over the weekend against Duquesne, land 9, won by 7. the truth of the matter about Richmond is they just don't defend at a real high level. And, UMass is not exactly the team that you don't want to defend. They have a good player in Trey Mitchell, a guy that'll play at the next level. A kid to keep an eye on. He's a guy that I really like. I think he's a top 20 pick, a really good player, probably the best player they've had there since Marcus Camby. Really good. I don't trust Richmond. They should win by double digits, but I've learned a lot this year that they're just hard to back. I think the only way you back Richmond, and again, I'm not doing it tonight, I think you probably do it in the first half. They've had this weird kind of inability to finish games out where they'll be up double digits at halftime and you'll think, okay, let's just put together, be up by more than 5 in the second half and you'll cruise. They just blow the lead in the first 5 minutes of the second half, and then it's a close game the rest of the way. So I would probably look, if I'm going to play this, first half.
All right, couple big spreads. Baylor, obviously, they're locked in to the number 1 or number 2 spot. Iowa State, not a great team, but this is a big number, 23.5. And I bring this up because of something we talked about on the Saturday show is late in the year, they don't have a lot to prove. Is that a big number to try to cover at this stage of the season?
Yeah, when it comes to Selection Sunday, Mike, no one's going to look back and say, well, you only won by 20 and not by 25 against Iowa State. You're not a 1 seed. Like, no one cares at this point. And I wouldn't want to test Baylor. They're the only team other than Gonzaga that's on average, Mike, beating teams by 24 points a game. That's on average this year. That's their scoring margin. It's just incredible stuff. At home, you pushed it up to almost 30. They're plus 30. That's crazy. I wouldn't tell you to take Iowa State here, put it that way, but you mentioned it. I think the goal right now for Baylor, just take care of business. Don't leave anything too much to chance. If they're up by 20 here with 3 minutes to go, the second and third levels are coming in. So you're going to have to fight. And as you said, I mean, this is the Big 12, okay? You're not playing Pine Bluff or a team like that here. This is a team that's in the Big 12. They're going to fight till the end.
I got one more college game, and then I'll let you kind of throw a college game out or two if you like, or however many. But UConn, Georgetown, though. We liked UConn over the weekend against Nova. This opened at 3. It's up to 5.5. Georgetown stinks.
They do, but I'll tell you another thing, Mike. I don't know if they stink right now. They play hard. I mean, Patrick Ewing's done a hell of a job down there. People don't really understand how much they've lost over the last year, basically. They had a hell of a time last year with off-the-court issues. There was a robbery that was done by 3 or 4 players last year, I believe, or some sort of criminal issue, and they lost a lot of their kids. Mac McClung transferred. James Akinjo transferred. I mean, to be able to be just not even relevant, but near 500, pretty unheard of. They continue to shoot the ball well, which has kind of kept them in games. I lean UConn, but my concern was in that game against Villanova over the weekend, James Bouknight didn't seem himself. I know he's back, but he didn't seem himself. If I was getting a fully healthy Bouknight, I think 4.5, 5, okay. But, again, it's the Big East. This isn't Butler. This isn't DePaul. Georgetown, for the most part, has been pretty tough and pretty sneaky.
All right. I want to flip before we go to the NBA. Anything on this card? A couple of interesting games that are on the card tonight that you have in mind. Is there a little sneaky play for our listeners out there?
Yeah, it's a tough card, I'll be honest. I think Florida is interesting against Auburn. Auburn, Mike, if you remember, they're really not playing for anything. I think they have a ban, a self-imposed ban as far as they can't make postseason play. So you're kind of just playing out the string here if you're Auburn. And I think it's kind of shown. I mean, Auburn's all of a sudden done a 180. I mean, they've lost 5 of 6 overall. And my issue when you have a team like this, Mike, is these are 18 and 19-year-old kids. There's no one on Auburn above a junior that plays regularly. They don't have a senior on this roster. And I've noticed just with younger kids, I mean, they lose interest, man. They get down on the dumps. They get down in their feelings. And it's shown. They just haven't been very good lately. And Florida's legit. Florida's going to have to run here and play their normal offense, which I like from them. They have a tendency of kind of trying to get away from the offense they should run, and Mike White, the coach, tries to throw in these different looks. They need to put the pedal to the metal and run. They should be able to blow Auburn out here. I was surprised to see Auburn as a favorite. Maybe you get one last stand, but I don't think you will. That was really The only game, there's one or two that we discussed that I kind of like. I definitely think St. Louis is a good one. But I have an interesting belief that Florida is going to win. I think Auburn's done. I think
All right, so Florida over Auburn, St. Louis, another one. I know there's an NBA game. This one's interesting to me. I definitely want to hear your take on. It's this Nets Kings over. It's 240. 240. What was it? 240. 242. Yeah. I mean, that's bonkers. You got two horrible defensive teams, but is that number too high?
I don't think it's ever too high with these two teams, especially the Kings, who I've talked before, and I'm sure you guys both know this. Sacramento is historically bad defensively. Like I'd have to go back and look at the history as far as the last 10 years, but I'm going to venture to say there's not been a team worse defensively than them. I mean, their defensive efficiency is just laughable. They don't defend. It's that simple. They're giving up 120 points a game. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's horrid. It's hard to watch, disturbing. I though look at them tonight, I think Brooklyn's getting a little too much respect. I know Brooklyn's legit and everything, but this number seemed a bit high to me. I lean Kings, frankly. I know Sacramento's not good defensively, but I mean,
it opened at 8. It's down to 6.5. But that over/under, man, it's staying there. 242.
Well, and because both these teams are going to give up 120 likely. But as I said, Mike, I mean, Brooklyn's not much better defensively. So
horrible.
Yeah. So I think that point that you made that the number was 8. It was 6.5 all day until about an hour or two ago. It dropped to 6. 80+% of the bets coming in are on the Brooklyn Nets. This screams Sacramento. I will be on Sacramento. I was kind of waiting to come on your show to announce it, but I'm going to put that out now. You can still get a 6.5. I'm playing the Kings tonight.
All right. At Jeff Nadu to check out some of his plays. One other NBA game tonight that might be a little under the radar. Cavaliers have lost 10 straight. They are at home. The number's gone up to 7.5. The Hawks aren't very good either. So are the Cavs a sneaky play tonight?
Yeah, I did a clubhouse earlier, and I talked about this. Someone asked about this game. I didn't have much. It seemed a bit high to me. I don't really want to get into the business of betting and laying 7, 8, 9 with Atlanta. I think they've improved significantly on the defensive end, and I think Cleveland, as far as points per possession, is the worst team in the league. So I think maybe the under. This game kind of screamed like 115, 108 to me, something like that. 228 seemed a bit high. I would frankly lean under, but it's not a game I'm playing. Surprised you didn't ask me about those Sixers tonight, Mike. I know you and Hunter are eyeing that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's 1.5, 2.5 at some place, some books, 222 over under. We've just been talking about before you jumped on. Sixers are 5-25 since 2013 against this outfit.
I mean, how do you bet the Sixers? I mean, they're a favorite tonight. Everyone and their mother, and I had to not
a road favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone and their mother, Mike, is saying to themselves right now, how can Philadelphia lose again to Toronto? They can't do it. Mike, they can, and they have. The 5 for the last 30 against Toronto.
25.
Yeah, but
5-25 they are. Yeah.
Right. So in the last 30 games, they won 5 times. That's pretty bad. I mean, it's disturbing, frankly.
You trading for Kyle Lowry?
Wow. I heard your discussion yesterday, and I'm tending to agree because I think when you look at the grand scheme of things of the league right now, Ben is playing well. And I know, Mike, you don't agree with this argument. You agree that they can play together. I still wonder if they can. I will admit Ben has played better. Would I trade for Kyle Lowry? I've never been a big Kyle Lowry guy. I think he's a fraud. I think for a lot of his career he's a fraud, but he is a winner and he has won. But if Kawhi Leonard wasn't there, he'd never won that title. So
totally agree with that.
Yeah,
can't be the guy. That's the problem. Him and DeRozan were masquerading as 1 and 1A. Couldn't do it. But when he had to hide to the third guy, he was fine.
I will say, though, with him and Embiid, I think they'd be electric together. They're both tough. At the end of the day, Lowry, I respect his game. He gets in people's heads. People hate Patrick Beverley, and I love Patrick. I love his bulldog mentality. I think Lowry's kind of that same. Remember we got into that with that fan on the sidelines in Philly?
Yeah.
But yeah,
were you the fan?
No, I wish I was. I'd give him a piece of my mind.
All right, here's a question for you that we debated yesterday. All right, here was the question. Name an athlete that you watched play before they became famous. Now, I said I watched Mike Trout, but I saw them play basketball, not baseball. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, most athletes are like multi-sport athletes. So,
yeah.
Wow,
I disagree with that. I feel like you have to watch him play baseball. If I watch Michael Jordan cook steak, does that really mean that I watched Michael Jordan before he was famous? No, it has no
you're
relevance.
talking about cooking.
Well, it's the same thing.
No, that's true. That's a good point, actually.
That's a terrible point.
That's a great point. I think that's a fantastic
No, I
point.
mean, it's true. I mean, you didn't watch him, play baseball. What'd you say you watched him play?
He played basketball in high school. He averaged a double-double.
He gave him 10 rebounds, and Mike Gill's over here to just juiced up.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying you thought Obama would be a good president because you saw him play basketball. I don't know.
Now you're changing your mind.
I think not. Yeah, I think he is. I think he's coming to the good side.
Who's an athlete you watched play before they became famous?
Well, I've watched a ton of them, I feel like.
I know. You're the kind of guy, if you ever watch Jeff's video, he gets a random question and legitimately has a real answer right off the top of his head. Like, hey, what's the best restaurant in Mali?
Well, some people say I cheat at that, Mike, though. No, I don't know. That is a really great question. I wish I would have thought of it myself.
I can't take credit. This was CBS Sports.
I'll give you one that I thought would be really good and didn't end up being good. Dejuan Wagner. He was incredible in high school.
I just called his son's game on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His son's. That's how old I feel.
Really old.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing him in high school at Camden, and he fizzled out and was nothing in the NBA. But
he got sick.
Well, true. That's a good point. I'd have to think about that. You're putting me on the spot. I usually am good with these. But.
Saturday, we'll talk about it.
Okay, I'll have some.
We'll do a nice elongated conversation on Saturday. Is there one game other than that college game that's on your for the rest of the week today? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely liking. I'll give you one for the rest of the week. Michigan is going to flame Iowa on Thursday. I am in on Michigan. I love Michigan, and I am not in on Iowa.
Well, I think you are out on Iowa.
I've been out on Iowa. I've been told you it all year. Fran is a fraud.
No defense, Iowa.
No. Dickinson's going to match up with our boy Garza. Michigan supporting cast, legit. I had them on Sunday. I'm going to have them on Thursday. Michigan. Also, Mike, I hope to see you when I come down to Atlantic City in a couple of weeks. You guys
I'm actually working on a little something for the tournament for us.
Good. I would like to hear about that. I'm excited about it. You guys are the greatest. You're one of the only radio programs, and I mean this, that I actually listen to regularly.
How about that, Brodes?
I love that.
Love Brodes. The kid is a wizard, a maestro, and Mike is the magician behind everything.
Well, you are a great part of the show. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, he's back. Jeff Nadu. He likes Florida tonight, St. Louis, Sacramento.
Yeah, Mike, just admit, I'm not with Barstool Sports anymore, all right? Just tell you.
Oh, he's not with Barstool Sports. He's with us. He's doing more stuff with us. All right. Formerly of Barstool Sports.
There you go.
All right, Jeff. See you.
See you, Mike. See you guys.
All right. He, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline, and he will be back on Saturday for the best of the Sports Bash, where we will talk longer about some of these things.
He pulled a Pete Thompson.
He changed.
Yeah, he pulled a Pete Thompson. You tell him one thing, and bang, he's off to the other side.
Michael Kaskey-Blomain is going to join us on the other side. I'll ask him the same question.
All right.
He's a basketball guy.
He is a basketballsman.
He's inside the Sixers today. And, of course, he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Let me tell you, Sports Bash today is brought to you by your Delaware Valley Acura dealers. For great deals on Acura's award-winning lineup, shop online at DelValAcuraDealers.com. We got plenty more to come. It's the Sports Bash. Don't forget, watch the show live on 97.3 ESPN.com. We're back.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Euro steps by him and scores it up and good. What a move. Are you kidding me?
The Sixers are in Tampa to face the Raptors. Tonight, coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Dorothy Roofing It's a heart and a brain thing. Call 1-877-97-KEVIN. Wizard quality comes with DorothyRoofing.com.
On some models excludes Corvette. With GMF financing, excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
It's President's Day all month long at Bennett Chevrolet with our biggest, boldest, best deals ever, saving you up to 25% off MSRP on brand new vehicles. Right now, Bennett Chevy is selling brand new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing. Plus, you keep all the rebates that can save you as much as 25% off MSRP. But there's even more ways to save with 0% financing available. Plus, if you're looking for pre-owned, Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's a minimum $7,000 for your trade, no matter its condition. Imagine how much more you'll get for a good trade. And once you've dealt with our non-commissioned sales team, you'll rave about the wonderful experience with no need to negotiate and no hassles, because our team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's President's Day all this month at Bennett. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Okay, set it down over there and then go to bay 5.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
You need to keep going to finish.
Like Amir's warehouse. To expand capacity, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Before you move in and start making a lifetime of memories, there's something you should remember: the value of working with a realtor. A realtor is more than an expert in the field who abides by a code of ethics. A realtor is your neighbor and your ally, someone who puts your agenda ahead of theirs, someone who understands your dreams and has the expertise to make them a reality. Finding the right place starts with you and a realtor, and the doors we open together. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
O'Reilly. This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello, Cape May County. This is County Commissioner Len Desiderio, co-chair of the County Recovery Task Force. We know that there are a lot of questions about the COVID vaccination. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov for information and to register in the state system. The beginning of this effort has been very challenging as we wait for the federal and state governments to implement distribution. But we already lead the state in vaccine administration, and we are ready to expand our efforts as soon as the state distributes larger amounts of vaccine to us. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov and click to register and check back often for more information. You will then be notified by the state when your turn comes about how to schedule your appointment. Go to capemaycountynj.gov and register now. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov for information and to register in the state system. Let's vaccinate safely together.
It's crunchy!
Creamy!
Sweet.
Salty. Nature Valley sweet and salty peanut bars, bursting with crunchy peanuts, dipped in creamy nut butter coating.
Delicious.
Nature Valley.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 973ESPN.com.
All right, 3:25. Time for Inside the Sixers. Michael Kaskey-Blomain will join us here. It's brought to you by Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your local provider who makes it easy to upgrade your home to the most efficient energy equipment on the market. Plus, learn how to get a free furnace during the month of March online at broadleys.com. Michael Kaskey-Blomain, CBS Sports, covers the NBA, covers the 76ers, and he joins us now for Inside the Sixers as they get ready to take on the Tampa-Toronto Raptors tonight down in Tampa. And Michael Kaskey-Blomain, MKB, as he's affectionately known on this show and many other places, joins us here on the Boardwalk on the Hotline. MKB, what's up, brother?
Fellas, what's going on?
All is good. 5-25, Brodes brought up. The Sixers are in their last 30 against the Raptors. Now, they had a tough night on Sunday night. So some of those were during the process years, to be fair. But that being said, they have struggled against this team. That being said, is this kind of a game that we were talking about how it's so hard in the regular season to learn things anymore. Is this a game, though, that you are watching to try to learn something about where this team is?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that these 2-game series that we're getting this season is a great kind of a foreshadowing to playoff series. And Doc Rivers has said that in the past when we've asked him, if he likes these series where you play the same team back to back because of the scheduling this year. And he basically said it's a great opportunity to kind of, get prepared for things in the postseason where you see the same team and you have to make adjustments. So for me, this obviously the Sixers were fully healthy last game. They're supposed to be pretty fully healthy again tonight. So I'm definitely going to be interested mainly to see the adjustments that are made to, obviously they don't want to lose back-to-back games to Toronto, and you're not going to take too much out of a game in February. But for me, I'm definitely going to be watching to see what Doc does, what changes he makes. Joel obviously had a rough night. It'll be interesting to see if they make any tweaks to kind of get him some easier looks in the offense. Just like small things like that to see how they're able to bounce back. I think it's, worthwhile to take out of a game like this for sure.
Now, you mentioned, they had a tough night. Now, Joel was getting doubled a lot. That was the strategy of Nick Nurse. They had open looks. They weren't hitting those shots. There was a lot of open looks that just weren't going down. So if they employ the same defense and the Sixers say, look, we'll take those open shots and they don't make them again, are you going to be disappointed?
I mean, to an extent, because you want your shooters to step up and knock down shots. That's going to be huge, obviously, for the Sixers moving forward. But I wasn't, super discouraged by that game the other night, just for that exact reason, Mike. Like you said, it was obviously a game where, Joel wasn't having his best game because of the doubles, and then a lot of the looks that they had were good open looks from guys that you'd like to see knock down shots. Tobias had somewhat of an off night. Seth, Danny Green, those guys that are there specifically to knock down shots, they just weren't knocking them down, which, it happens sometimes. I don't think the Sixers and Doc specifically were, overly concerned with, the way that game unfolded. I think they kind of just chalked it up to one of those games where, they were off and they weren't hitting their shots. But, against a team like the Raptors, who you guys mentioned coming in, they've had a tough time against in recent years. There's a chance that this is a team that they could see again, in a playoff series down the road in the first couple of rounds. So I think that for the Sixers, they really do want to come back, with a bounce back performance. And a big part of that is going to be to, just knock down the shots that are presented to them, especially if the Raptors, double Joel like they did last game. Those shots are going to be there again for the other players.
How do you view the 7+ minutes in the fourth quarter without a field goal? They finished with 2 field goals in the last 8:48. Is that just a product of what we're talking about, missed shots, that type of night? Or do you look at it, when they played the Lakers, they had some tough moments in the fourth quarter. There was a Charlotte game where they were up big and they had some tough moments in the fourth quarter. Is this a common theme in the fourth or just one of those nights as well?
I think it's a combination of both things, Brody. This is something, obviously, that's been an issue for the Sixers going back to the Brett Brown days where they would seem to just have extended lulls of minutes of game time where they just aren't getting baskets. This year it hasn't been as much as an issue because they've had Joel as kind of the safety blanket to just throw the ball down to. But I think it's representative of something that Daryl Morey is probably going to try to address leading up to the trade deadline. And that's, bringing in another guy that's really just capable of generating his own offense when things in the, the system itself are breaking down. If Joel's out or not, not having his best game, the Sixers really lack a guy that they can kind of just, throw the ball out to on the perimeter and say, here, get us a bucket. And that's something that they've, lacked for a while. They obviously have addressed it to in a bit. Shake Milton is, decent at that. He can do it. But I do think that they need, another playmaker, a ball handler on the perimeter that when things get tough like that and the defenses are, keying in on Joel and the shots aren't falling, you need a guy that you can just rely on to go and get you a bucket. So I think that, some of it was definitely the result of the shooters just having an off night. And I don't expect another big gap like that without a field goal made tonight. But I do think that it's something that, Daryl Morey and the front office obviously have taken note of. And it's something they'll, probably try to address between now and the trade deadline at the end of next month.
All right. So a couple things on that. You tweeted out the Nets are a problem. So what do the Sixers need to do if they're not on that level to get to that level?
I don't think it's a matter of, one move that you can really make. There's not really a player for the Sixers that they can acquire that's going to move the needle that much to put them, on Brooklyn's level talent-wise. I think the Sixers already have the, for lack of a better word, the special ingredient to go against Brooklyn, and that's just Joel. Brooklyn does not have any interior size behind DeAndre Jordan. They don't have a lot of front court depth. So Joel is going to create a huge mismatch for them. But, Brooklyn's creeping up on the Sixers in the standings. They're just half a game back now. And the really scary thing to me is that they haven't even really had the trio of their guys, for many games together. Obviously, they're pulling games out right now with Durant on the sideline. Kyrie was out for a while. Obviously, James Harden's still getting acclimated to the team. The fact that they've had, all kind of the turnover and the changes that they've had so far already this season, and they're already 20-12, half game back from the Sixers. I think that's a pretty scary sight for Philadelphia, considering the fact that, once obviously Durant gets fully healthy and he's out there with Harden and Kyrie for the back half of the season, they're probably going to be piling up the wins, and, they're just a team that's going to be extremely tough to stop. I don't think that there's one thing specifically that the Sixers can do to get on that level. I think they just need to continue to, play their game and do some smaller moves to solidify their bench leading up to the deadline. Like I was saying, another playmaker, potentially a big that can stretch the floor, and just make sure they're as deep and as formidable as possible to go up against that team that has, three of the best offensive players in the league.
So if you were Daryl Morey, you would be out on Kyle Lowry, considering the compensation of moving Danny Green, and you probably have to package up a significant amount of your bench, which is already playing pretty poorly at the moment. You're out on Kyle Lowry.
To an extent, Brody, I would definitely have to see the return. If obviously, as long as you're keeping Ben and Joel in the mix, I think it is something you would consider. But at the same time, you have to look and say, is Kyle Lowry on an expiring contract the type of player that's really going to take you to the next level and get you on that Brooklyn level this season? Or would you be better off to kind of, get some smaller pieces in there that could complement what they have now, and just try to roll with the current rotation? Obviously, on paper, Lowry would be a great addition for the Sixers, but I would have to imagine that the asking price, it's going to be pretty high given how well the Raptors have been playing and how big of a part he's been of that franchise for years. I'm sure they're not super eager to part ways with him. So to me, I would definitely consider it, and I'd have to look at the specs and what Toronto was asking for. But it seems to me, a Kyle Lowry or like a Zach LaVine deal that's been popped up, it seems like it's probably going to be a little bit too much asking price wise for something that the Sixers are willing to do this season, unless they really are, want to shift things up in terms of their rotation moving forward on the back half of the season.
Yeah, well, MKB, you probably have a little bit more knowledge of this, but it's got to be Danny Green has to be in that deal, right? I mean, to get the money to match, he has to be in that deal. That's only half the money, though. So you're talking about, if you're Toronto, why do I want Danny Green, Cork Maz, Brad? Like, people want to throw Mike Scott. Like, that doesn't make any sense for them. You're going to have to give up a Thibault, a Milton, or probably a Maxey, and then a Milton would be the third option. And I'm wondering if the Sixers want to do that for possibly a rental.
Exactly, Mike. I think that's the big thing. There's no reason that Toronto is going to want to give up Kyle Lowry for pennies on a dollar. He's a guy that's coming off the books next year. And I think this year they're looking to make a run. They had a rough start to the season, but they're, climbing up now. They're fifth in the East. They, beat the Nets. They beat the Sixers. They beat the Bucks twice in a row last week. They're looking like a team that's really formidable. And I think, if Kyle Lowry is going to be leaving Toronto after this offseason, the indications I've got is he and they would probably both want to give it, one more try this year, give it another run in the postseason and see how far they could do. And if they were going to move him, like you said, Mike, you nailed it. I think they'd want something that's not just, Danny Green's coming off the books. Mike Scott's, a fine rotation piece, but he's not a needle mover. If they were going to do this, and get rid of Lowry, that would signify, at least somewhat of a rebuild in Toronto. And they would definitely want, I think a young player or two to, build with moving forward, whether that's, like you said, Matisse or Maxey or Milton. The Sixers would have to part with at least one of those guys, if not two of them. And at this point, like I said, you have to decide if that's something that you really want to do for half a season of Kyle Lowry. If they think that he's really the guy that can come in with Ben and Joel and take this team to a championship level this season, that's their prerogative. But for me, I think it's definitely something you would have to think, pretty hard about before pulling the trigger.
How impressed are you with the current stretch of Ben Simmons? He's almost shooting 80% from the line. I never thought in a million years I'd see that.
And that's all we've needed to see from him. I think, to me, an aggressive Ben Simmons, not a Ben Simmons that's coming out there and jacking up threes or forcing up jump shots. Just a Ben Simmons that's in attack mode from early on in the game. He obviously, he was lacking that early in the season. It just was not there, the consistent aggression. And now, like you said, for the past 3 weeks, it seems like it's been, I don't know if something clicked and maybe he's feeling a little bit healthier now. I know he still had some lingering issues coming into the season off the injury from last year. And to me, the biggest thing is, like you said, Brody, the fact that he's just so confident at the free throw line, and that translates to him being more aggressive on the court. And that's obviously great for the Sixers when he's attacking. It pulls the defense in, draws, the guys in, creates open shots for the others. And the Sixers need, not only his passing, but they need him to put up, 18, 20, 22, 24 points a game. Joel can't be out there scoring 40 every night. And Ben has the skill set to, provide a mismatch for the Sixers on the offensive end. So it's a huge positive to me. And I think, this is what the Sixers need from Ben moving forward, a guy that's going to come out and in attack mode. And I think, like you said, the fact that he's definitely uptick in his free throws recently has translated to him feeling more confident at going to the line and in turn more confident, attacking the basket, which is all good for the Sixers.
NBA writer Michael Kaskey-Blomain from CBS Sports. Now, you just wrote about Joel Embiid on how he's taken his game to another level. I want to get your thoughts on both that and if we're seeing kind of Simmons evolve right before our very eyes. Like sometimes you see it from one off season to the next season that, hey, this guy looks like he's gotten better. It feels like Ben is evolving in season, and it feels like Joel evolved in the off season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Mike. It definitely took Ben, a little while to find his comfort zone early in this season. But I think, outside of him, expanding his perimeter shot, which obviously we've all talked about at length, the game he's playing over the past few weeks is the best that we've seen him play, I think, in his career up to this point, in terms of he's still, a top tier defender in the NBA, first team all defense, potentially a defensive player of the year later this year, still creating the looks for everybody else. And then he's, attacking the basket and knocking down the free throws. That's all you can really ask of him at this point. So I think that he's definitely, and again, I don't know if there was a conversation that was had or if it's something that just clicked, for him in the middle of the season. But over the past 3 weeks to a month, since right before that Lakers game, that in the Celtics game a few weeks back, I think we've just seen a different Ben. And this is, why the Sixers didn't want to trade him for James Harden. Even at the time, he wasn't playing, his great basketball, but they knew what he was capable of on both ends of the floor. And he just does so many things for the Sixers on both ends. And it's huge for, what they're trying to do. And in terms of Joel, I do think, he deserves a lot of credit, obviously not for his play, but it's clear that he, took this offseason. If you compare how he looked in the bubble and at the end of last season, how he's looked this year, it's night and day. And I think he just deserves, a lot of credit for putting the work in, making sure he's in good shape, listening to and, working on issues he's had in the past, like reacting to double teams and putting the ball on the floor and taking too many threes. It's all the things that I think people have said about his game in the past that he needs to do to take it to a next level. It really seems like over the offseason, he took that all to heart and put it together. And now, 5 years into his career, we're seeing, everything just clicking for Joel.
Their net efficiency on and off the court. So much, Michael, has been made of, can they play together? Can they not? Now, when they didn't play together, Ben had 42. They didn't play together. Joel had 50. They did play together. They lost. But that's neither here nor there. The net efficiency rating when they're both on the court together is astronomically better when it's just Embiid or just Simmons or they're both off. So it is clear not only can they play together, they need them to play together.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not even, a question at this point to me. If you're watching the Sixers, they can absolutely coexist. And having, the shooters around them now that they have has been a huge help. And it takes you back to 2 seasons ago, I think, when they had that run where they lost to Toronto in the second round. That their efficiency rating that season was great. And it's just a matter of, I think, surrounding them with, the right type of players. That didn't happen last year. Obviously, you bring in Al and Josh Richardson, and it just kind of clogged things up. But when you have Joel and Ben, who, not only can they play together, they very clearly enjoy playing, with each other. They've said it multiple times that they emphasize and help each other out. And I think you're just seeing this year, Ben playing at such a high level and Joel playing at such a high level and the guys around them doing their job. So to me, the concern that they couldn't play together was always, somewhat overblown. When you have two all-star, superstar caliber players, to me, it's a matter of coaching and it's a matter of, filling out the roster around them. And I think that's been a problem in the past. This year, they both, responded very well to Doc and what he's come in and tried to do. And the roster around them has been, beneficial to both of them. So they're both clicking. And I think, like you said, they need them both to be, at their best moving forward if they're going to make the deep run that I think a lot of us hope that they're capable of making.
All right, we'll see tonight against the Raptors. You can listen to the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. It's a 7:30 Tampa tip for the Raptors, who are playing down in Tampa, and then they play the Mavs and the Cavs to wrap up the month of February, the Pistons and the Jazz, and then we'll have to check out the second half schedule when that comes out. Michael Kaskey-Blomain at The Real Mike KB joined us here on the Sports Bash. Check him out at CBS Sports, and he, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. MKB, take care, man.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good one.
All right, brother. That's MKB here, as always, on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline, breaking it down. He wrote a great article about Joel Embiid, and Joel in that article was quoted basically saying the game is just slowing down for me. You hear that a lot, but that's why, to me, this is the season. Joel is at that point. He knows it. They know it. Tobias Harris said it the other night. This is fun playing with Joel in his prime. So that's why I feel like I think Morey sees it too and realizes, I got to do something for my big.
Yeah, you just have to you just got to weigh it and see if the pros outweigh the cons, right? I mean, because there is another side to this, the bench problem and all. And if he walks away next season and you just went for it and you're not close enough yet, and there's a lot to weigh into this for sure.
Tough spot.
It is.
And you don't have a lot of maneuverability. Gone is all the Hinkie war chest of assets. That's all gone. Think about that. Remember all those years, like you got all these picks and these picks. That's all behind you now. It's a distant memory. Process, Hinkie, draft picks, assets. Now you got nothing. Thanks, Colangelo. Damn. All right, Sports Bash is being brought to you today by Dorothy Gale Roofing. I'm thinking about that. Like, I can't believe that's all so far in the rear view.
Did you like his collars?
Colangelo, I didn't like anything about Colangelo. Nothing.
Nice collared shirts he had.
Couldn't stand him. There's no place like your home, and if you have a leak or need a new roof, call Dorothy Gale Roofing. 877-97-KEVIN or visit them online, DorothyGale.com. This is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, you can watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. Coming up, 4:30 today. It's a Tuesday with Thompson, Andrew DiCecco, and want to get into, by the way, Claude Giroux looks like back practicing. Good news.
Yeah. Yep, he came out and spoke. Excited to get him back so we're not watching defensemen in the AHL play forward.
I want to talk a little Phils about something you said on Coffee with Brodes this morning.
Ooh.
Back with that.
Offseason.
By no means are we a finished product.
What offseason? It's football at 4. Every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Kendall Auto Plaza offers the area's best car and truck buying experience with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. What's on their 100-acre lot? A huge inventory of Ford, Lincoln, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and over 100 quality and certified pre-owned vehicles. Whether you use your car, truck, or SUV for work or play, discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or shop from home at KendallAutoplaza.com.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so their best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
Feeling stressed in your skin? Not with new Olay body wash infused with skincare ingredient retinol. Olay with retinol improves skin 3 times better versus the leading body wash, transforming skin from dry and stressed to bright and smooth. So I can step into stressful days feeling my best in my skin. Olay Body, fearless in my skin. Now try Olay's other skincare-inspired body washes with hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and collagen.
It's time for some straight talk. Tax returns could look a little different this year. So when the big carriers start trying to get you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get our unlimited plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense. Tune into Straight Talk Wireless. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
You have the choice, whether it's going out for dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses.
First Bank of Sea Isle City, Cape May County's community bank.
Dr. Lyle M. Back for everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery. Go to ilovelylback.com.
Egg Harbor Independent Branch Leader at Charles Schwab in the Consumer Square Shopping Plaza.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Intuitive Women's Health in Summers Point, accepting new patients. Schedule an appointment today at intuitivewomenshealth.net.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, back with you guys out there, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN on a Tuesday. Don't forget, you can watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. So I was watching Coffee with Brodes this morning.
Where were you when you were watching?
On the toilet.
Okay, I love that. It's a great spot for it.
It's better than when you were eating dog food.
That did happen yesterday. We'll get to that later. I want to hear
Where else would I be watching Coffee with Brodes?
I don't know, maybe with your
Sit
coffee.
on my couch?
Yeah.
No.
Some do that. Some have their coffee.
It's 9 o'clock. That's what time.
Oh, you have a set time. You have a schedule.
Sure.
9 on the dot?
8 after.
Okay.
So you're about 8 minutes into the show.
Yeah. So what was my Phillies point?
Somebody brought up about Alec Bohm playing third base. Could he win a Gold Glove?
Oh, yeah.
To the point that you put the guy's comment up on the screen, and then you chastise the guy as if he was asking a question that had no legitimacy.
Do you think that was a legit question?
Well, I don't know that he's Gold Glove caliber, but it's funny because when you were answering him and basically mocking this poor man.
Oh, come on. It was in a good tone.
I had found a stat about Alec Bohm's defense the other day. I was reading something that talked about from after his first 8 to 10 games that he was basically like the best defensive third baseman in baseball.
Well, it's
the
funny you
rest
bring
of
that
the
up.
way.
Yeah.
And then I was Googling trying to find that where I found it and came across an article that Scott Lauber had written.
Okay.
About how Bohm's defense has come so far that they now have no more worries about playing him at third base because there was a lot of talk about getting him off of third base. And now the Phillies have they don't want to move him off of third base because they feel that he has improved that much defensively.
Well,
so you mock this man, and I feel like you're Billy Schwein. You got to do a little research and reading before you make such an outlandish comment.
Let's see Alec Bohm go. The thing with Alec Bohm is he did make some of these crazy plays off the hop, and it was like, wow, look at Alec Bohm. And then he allows ones that go right through his legs. So, I'll wait until
I see. He was really bad. I agree.
He was bad.
And then he had gotten better as that season went on.
I hope you get better than what he was.
Oh, yeah, to the point where the Phillies now have no plans to move him off third base. I remember having the conversation, I think it was with you last year. We were going back and forth about this, that he is not ready to play third base at the major league level, that you would have to DH him. You can't put him in the field because you are giving up runs for your pitchers, and that's not fair to have a guy who's not ready to play major league third base. And I think that he answered a lot of those questions for both the Phillies and me, that I don't have a big problem with Bohm playing third base now. Well, I actually think that, and in the article that there was a scout that said that he reminded them a lot of Troy Glaus, who used to play for the Angels, who was like a bigger, because he's 6'5". You don't see a lot of 6'5" third basemen. Just odd to see a guy that big playing third base.
Yeah, I'm not anti-moving. I knew he was going to play third base. I went into this season saying he is your everyday third baseman, but nothing last year sold me that, automatically this guy's going to come in here and not have some issues there. I still think he's got to prove to me.
I feel like he's the Andre Dillard. He played right tackle one night. That's what we remember. Bohm came in, played a bad third base early. That's what we remember. We don't remember that the other 45 games or however many it was, he actually handled himself well. He was so bad early on that that's what we remember.
I think you're giving him a little too much credit.
I'm not giving him the credit. I'm saying this is what
I want to read I'd have to see the exact article on that, because there's a lot of plays where he won't touch the ball, but he's just not in position. Where he's way too far off the line and the ball gets roped down the line, and statistically that won't really play a role in what Alec Bohm did wrong, but that doesn't come up on any stat sheet where he's just out of place from the beginning. So it doesn't necessarily result in errors, but there are some flaws in his defensive game that still concerns me for sure. I mean, there's no way that I can look at him and say, I trust him to play a great third base. He might play a good third base, but there's not much that I saw last year to make me feel so confident heading into the year and say, I feel fine about this.
I went in saying last year that he was a legitimate concern for me at third base. You can't put him out there. And there was just, in my mind, from everything that I had heard and been reading about, he was not ready to play at the big league level as a defensive player. For me, a lot of those questions were kind of answered not right away. I thought he was pretty bad third baseman beginning. But as the year went on, I was like, this guy's gotten a little bit better. So I feel like that's not a problem. Here's another thing with Bohm. I'm very intrigued about where they're going to hit him in the lineup, because you can make an argument, Brodes, that he was their best hitter last year.
Definitely.
So if you take the reason this came up is I saw somebody put out a potential batting lineup, had him hitting sixth. And I'm thinking, how the hell am I hitting Alec Bohm sixth?
Where was Reese? 2? Because I brought this up also on Coffee with Brodes. I'm so intrigued with how they utilize Rhys Hoskins. Is he going to be batting second again?
God,
are we really doing that again?
I am done with that.
So where would you bet? Where would you bet Bohm?
I would probably hit him 3.
So Bryce Harper would be your 4?
2.
Oh, okay. He'd be your 2. Okay. So, yeah, let's go a hypothetical here. So you'd have Kutch at leading us off. So you'd have Kutch, Bryce Harper.
I don't love Kutch, but I don't have another choice.
Okay. Bohm.
Hold on. Let me
JT Real Mucho. I'm just kind of throwing some names out here so we can
I would
them.
probably go, and we're coming up to it here, so we probably have to table this for later. But everybody out there, if you want to kind of chime in on the conversation, I would hit Bohm probably 3 and go Harper 2.
I like that. Oh, I'd be totally okay with that for sure. Yeah, 6s. But you can look at it as, wow, if Bohm is your 6th, how deep are you? Is that another way to look at it?
He's hitting behind, in that lineup, he was hitting behind Segura.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be above Segura.
Right. I mean, Segura, I think, was hitting 5th.
Yeah, that's got to be different for sure.
So I would at worst hit him 5th behind JT.
I can get behind that.
See, I would go probably Kutch, Harper, Bohm, JT, Hoskins, Segura. Who am I missing?
Kingery or Didi. Didi's got to be up there, too.
No, Didi ahead of Segura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hastley, Quinn.
All right, we'll bring this back. Sports Bash Live. Don't forget, check out Coffee with Brodes, 9 o'clock at Brodes 81.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action. The Flyers host the New York Rangers tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, and listen live on the free mobile app.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
When we feel stress or anxiety, our body and mind are affected. Now more than ever, knowing 3 simple steps can help reduce anxiety. First, get your breathing under control. When we're stressed, we often take quick, shallow breaths. Slow it all down by taking long, deep breaths, which will lower your heart rate and begin to calm your nerves. Visualization is the next important step. Close your eyes and find your happy place. Maybe it's the beach, maybe it's a park. A calming image that brings you bliss will help you ease your mind and body. Last, count back slowly from 20. This will give you something else to focus on instead of anxiety. Following these simple techniques can help, but if you suffer with severe and persistent anxiety, talk with your healthcare specialist or mental health professional. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Body Armor Light isn't just a sports drink. It's more than a sports drink. With no artificial sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories per 16-ounce bottle. Body Armor Light is changing the game when it comes to hydration. Plus potassium-packed electrolytes, coconut water, antioxidants, and vitamins make Body Armor Light the perfect choice for your next workout and your active lifestyle. Body Armor Light, more than a sports drink. Head to drinkbodyarmor.com to learn more.
Someone else excludes Corvette with GMF financing. Excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
It's President's Day all month long at Bennett Chevrolet with our biggest, boldest, best deals ever, saving you up to 25% off MSRP on brand new vehicles. Right now, Bennett Chevy is selling brand new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing. Plus, you keep all the rebates that can save you as much as 25% off MSRP. But there's even more ways to save with 0% financing available. Plus, if you're looking for pre-owned, Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's a minimum $7,000 for your trade, no matter its condition. Imagine how much more you'll get for a good trade. And once you've dealt with our non-commissioned sales team, you'll rave about the wonderful experience with no need to negotiate and no hassles, because our team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's President's Day all this month at Bennett. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Sports is using technology to take the it's the console its technology for years. ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/max. ZipRecruiter's technology identifies people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. No wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/max. That's ZipRecruiter.com/max.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 973ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadley's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is hit! He stumbles! He's down!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with 97.3 ESPN.com's Andrew DiCecco.
My first allegiance is what will be best for the Philadelphia Eagles and our fans for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast and brought to you by Dr. Lyle M. Back. Everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery. Go to iloveLyleBack.com or call 856-MAKEOVER for Dr. Lyle M. Back, proud sponsor of Football at 4. This hour of the show, it's brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bet, take your profit. Find out how at PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. Mike and Brodes, Andrew DiCecco for Football at 4 today here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. And he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Andrew, what's going on, my man?
Hey, Mike, how are you, man?
All right, man. We're doing well. It's that time of the year. We're starting to think about free agency and the draft. Of course, the Carson Wentz saga is now behind us. Thursday was the day that it happened. You were on the air that day. Dust has settled. And now, looking forward, I want you to kind of give us your thoughts on the quarterback position for the Philadelphia Eagles and how you kind of see it materializing from now until draft day. Do you see free agent? Is it Jalen Hurts? Is it number 6? Do they make a trade? How do you kind of now see what the Eagles quarterback position might look like moving forward now that Wentz is officially gone?
Well, for me, it makes sense to sign a veteran, to be there as a mentor for Jalen Hurts. It's a very young quarterback room. Obviously, Jalen Hurts has just 4 game sample size under his belt, but it makes sense to go with Jalen Hurts, give him a full off season, let him build that continuity with his wide receivers and tight ends, and establish leadership and get the whole team's support behind him before you can really make an accurate assessment about what he is or what he isn't. I mean, the Eagles are not in a position to challenge for a championship this season, one way or the other. So, I mean, see what you have with your young quarterback that you selected with the 53rd overall pick just last year. The team just has so many other holes that, to kind of play this quarterback carousel again, I don't know that they're in a position where they can afford to do that. There's just too many other needs. So, I mean, roll with Jalen Hurts, see what you have there, and then, make an assessment at the end of the season. Because if he's not good, you'll have an opportunity to pick, high again. So, and you'll have another likely another first-round pick to work with as well.
All right. So, for someone like you who studies the draft and is, knows these quarterback prospects really well, Fields, Wilson, obviously you're not going to get Lawrence, Mac Jones. I mean, you would say roll with Hurts rather than roll the dice with one of those quarterback prospects. Trey Lance, the other guy, obviously in the mix here. So there's going to be someone there at 6, you would think. But you would say go with Hurts and get in another direction before you say take a guy at 6. Or even what if Howie Roseman trades up?
Even still, Justin Fields is a player that I think is decidedly better than Jalen Hurts, but I don't necessarily know that right now Zach Wilson or Trey Lance are that much better than what Jalen Hurts is or can be. I mean, there's just too much, uncertainty there. So to take to invest the 6th pick in a quarterback, it's kind of like they have a high ceiling, but there's still a lot of question marks there with all the other holes that you have on that team. I mean, I think that would be irresponsible for the Eagles to do that, given their current situation.
A lot of people are wondering if heading into the season, knowing he has a real chance to be the starter, that will change Hurts' off-season mentality. Others around the league claim that he already does that every single week, no matter what. He is planning to be the starter in his head. So I ask you, do you think his mental preparation entering the season will hit another level?
Well, what really impressed me, Hunter, not always, it wasn't just his, physical attributes and his ceiling and his athleticism that I was intrigued with when I was evaluating him last year. It was how mature his mindset is and how competitive he is and how driven he is to be the best. And I know that, you kind of, those kind of traits are usually attributed to quarterbacks. But I mean, for such a young quarterback, his mindset and his poise, it just translates very well to the professional level. And, it says something when you're able to get a rookie to win over teammates so quickly and a locker room that, that had a lot of veterans in it, and to have their support for him to get their support, that says a lot because, he didn't really have a large sample size, but he was in that locker room all year long. He has a positive mentality. He wants to get better. He's putting in the work. And, I think that the Eagles should, you like them enough to take him the second round last year. Obviously, the plan wasn't for him to be a starter, to be a high-level backup. But, just see what you have. See what's there before, just completely tossing him aside and trying to get another guy in there. At least let's see how it plays out. That's what I would do.
Andrew DiCecco, Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. There was a podcast today. It was Chris Long and Malcolm Jenkins going back and forth about this topic of Carson Wentz. And one of the things I saw in there that I felt was really interesting was Chris Long said that he never thought of Wentz as a leader or not the leader. He just said, damn, this kid's pretty good. He's a good kid. If anything, he's a little shy, that you'd like to see him reach out and kind of go over to that corner of the locker room and talk to people. So essentially he was saying that, he didn't really go out of his way to talk to everybody. He also said the coachability, the stubbornness, that he's not the only player that goes through that, but it's something you expect more from the quarterback. He said that's the bottom line. He's not only the quarterback who's stubborn, that basically this is the guy who he was. He was a shy guy. He didn't like to talk. He was a little uncoachable, but that there's a lot of guys like that. But he never said, hey, what a bleep hole. Like, he was like, this guy's not a bad person. But that's Jalen Hurts is completely the other side, right? He's the guy that goes over to every corner of the locker room. He's the guy that brings everybody together. He's the guy that wants to be coached hard. So I guess the question is, Wentz might have more talent, but sometimes it's those intangibles that take your team, your 53-man roster, to another level.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw that last season, just in the brief time that we got to see Jalen. What I was most impressed with was his voice being thrown in there with no offseason. Really didn't have he didn't know there was no preseason. He didn't have that continuity with the team. Yet he stepped in there and he appeared fearless. He trusted what he saw. He delivered the football. He processed things quickly. And was there a lot of areas that he can improve on? Of course. But that's what the full off season's for. So, and the things that you heard Malcolm and Chris Long say are things that have been reported, for a couple of years now on Carson Wentz. That wasn't really much of a surprise. And I think that when you have a personality like that, right or wrong, that's going to create a little bit of a division in the locker room, because you want your quarterback to be that leader that you don't necessarily have to be a rah-rah guy, but you want to have a little bit of that, we're going to follow this guy into a dark alley type of thing. And Jalen Hurts is that guy that the guys just seem to want to rally behind, and he injected a lot of energy to the offense. And that translates. That's a real thing. I do think that the current roster, I think those guys are really excited to see what he can do next season.
Is there a preferred veteran quarterback out there, the one that fits better with this current team? I know Fitzpatrick's is the name, Mariota, and some other ones, of course, but is there anyone that stands out to you that you think would be the best fit?
I would, honestly, Hunter, I would go with Ryan Fitzpatrick, much for the same reason why I really liked the fit with Josh McCown a couple of years ago. He's been in many different systems. He's played, he's sporadic, he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a journeyman, and he's had some great games, and he's some games that remind you of why he's been a journeyman. But, he's been able to stick in the NFL for such a long time. And just, being in all these different systems, I think that only helped Jalen Hurts get acclimated to Nick Sirianni's system. And I think it would just be a great fit, because at this stage in his career, I don't know if Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to want to. I think he may have come to terms that he's probably not going to get one of the coveted 32, starting quarterback positions in the NFL. So I don't know that there's going to be a quarterback controversy, but I think he would be a big help for Jalen Hurts.
Hey, we're talking with, of course, our Football at 4, and it's Andrew DiCecco here as the Eagles all season getting underway. Now, you guys bringing up that veteran quarterback. I feel like an interesting name, too, could be Jacoby Brissett. The problem is I think he's going to want way too much money, and this team already has a lot of financial issues, but he would be an interesting kind of backup mentor type of guy who knows Sirianni. I think that would be a good fit. I don't think the money would work out, so that would be the problem of bringing in a guy like you guys are talking about Fitzpatrick. I see Jacoby Brissett, like getting a veteran guy to that extent. The problem is the cap. I don't know that you can afford to bring in that veteran guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're going to have to be. They're going to have to do some restructuring here with their roster and do a little maneuvering. That's kind of Howie's specialty. But, I think that Jacoby Brissett's going to be out of their price range. He's one of the top backup quarterbacks in football. Possibly could be a very, a low-end starter. But, he's shown that he's capable of, running an offense. And, I think in the right situation he can thrive. But I don't know that he's going to I think what he's going to warrant on the open market isn't something that the Eagles are going to be able to deliver financially.
Yeah. By the way, the news yesterday, not crazy news, Andrew, but to get your, take on what this kind of signifies. Deshaun Jackson on Friday released, they're going to release him. And then they announced there's a report yesterday that they're going to release Alshon Jeffrey. And I guess that kind of signifies, do you think they're going to go with this young group of receivers like Rager, JJ? How do you think this receiver room's going to look like? Hightower, Quez Watkins, they got these young guys. Do you think that's what they're going to go with? And even if they draft a guy at 6, that's a rookie.
Yeah, exactly. And Jeff nailed it when he said, there's not a guy in that room, take Alshon and Deshaun out of the equation that's played more than 2 seasons in the NFL outside of Marquise Goodwin, who all of a sudden becomes, your own veteran guy there. I think you can get like a low-level veteran to step in there that, role player guy, 4th receiver, special teams guy that's played a while, that can really kind of command the room. They're really cash-strapped. It's really hard to go out and spend on at the position. There's something to be said for that, though. That's an awfully young wide receiver room. They're going to have to do something there. Yes, Marquise Goodwin is there, but I don't know that. I don't know if he's even going to make the roster, to be honest with you. So, I think that they need to at least check into that in the free agent market and look to bolster that area.
Since we're talking about offensive playmakers, the tight end Pitts is catching a lot of hype right now. Are you moving in any direction with him coming out of the draft, or are you kind of staying with where you were in your first initial assessment?
Well, I love Kyle Pitts, but I don't like him at 6.
Right.
I think that, if there's a team that wanted to trade with the Eagles, they would say a team that really wants a quarterback and they want to move up to 6 and Eagles can move down a few spots. Yeah, that's a great opportunity to take a guy like Kyle Pitts, put him on your roster, move him around and let him do his thing. And I think that would be a tremendous fit. And another weapon that the offense it's so dire right now in terms of playmakers. I just love his versatility we can bring to an offense. He runs routes as good or better than some wide receivers in this class. He's just a phenomenal talent, and he's going to be a plug-and-play starter and an impact player. So,
all right, obviously, draft season is getting here. The mock draft season is here. Eagles at number 6. We will continue to focus on that because I really think that 6th spot is going to be really interesting because I think teams are going to call them. Teams are going to call it 6 because of all these quarterbacks that are involved. The question will be, does Howie Roseman want a quarterback for himself? Or does he want to kind of get out of there? That's stuff that we will continue to kind of dissect with Andrew. He'll be back on Thursday's show for Football at 4. Moshe is in tomorrow. Adam is here on Friday. Football at 4, all season long. Eagles, NFL, draft, you name it. We've got it. Football at 4 here on the Sports Bash, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Andrew, appreciate it, man.
You got it, guys. Talk to you soon.
And Andrew, like all guests, appears via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Is this offseason is going to be an interesting one with that quarterback position, man. I got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of going quarterback with that pick. Don't like it.
I agree with you. I don't prefer it by any means. I just feel, though, if they feel like there is a guy there that can be their franchise guy, well, then they should take it. But if they don't just take a quarterback to take a quarterback because you think he could be better than Jalen Hurts. Make sure it's a guy that can legitimately be your franchise guy. I don't know if that's there.
Always is checking in on YouTube, always testy. So it's going to be hard to evaluate Hurts with such a crap team around him. So I don't agree with that narrative that he's got such a crap team around him. You feel more like him, but
I don't think it's as strong as him. I'm in between him and you.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be explosive.
No, I know that.
But I like the offensive line that you're bringing back if they're healthy. If they're healthy. Big conversation is there's no reason for me to think that Lane Johnson's going to come in broken down. He had the whole offseason off. There's no reason to think same thing with Brandon Brooks. Got the whole offseason to recuperate. I don't know what's going on with Kelce. Now, Jeff Bohm and Pookie throws this in. I heard Jason Kelce's going to retire. I have not heard that concretely. There's
maybe
always
he's talking
been.
Maybe he's talking to Jason.
Right, maybe. Or Jeff.
No, I'm saying maybe Jeff is talking to Jason.
Oh, Kelce.
Yeah, Jason Kelce, that is.
If you give me a line of Mailata or Dillard, Sayamala, Kelce, Brooks, and Johnson, I can win with that. I can win with that. I can win with Goddard. I can win with Sanders. The big unknown is the wideouts. Can I win with Rieger? Can he be a guy that I can win with?
Can you win with Jalen Hurts?
Well, that's a big question. I think you can win games with Jalen Hurts. Yes.
He's
a winner.
You can win games. You can win games. It just depends on what win games mean. Is 8-8 win games? Is 10-6 win games? Is 6-10 win games? What does win games mean?
I think you can have a winning season with Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. And look, I don't know that Jalen Hurts is going to be Patrick Mahomes. In fact, I would predict he's not.
Good assumption.
Yep. But can he be a better version of what Nick Foles was for you? Absolutely.
I look at him as a stopgap guy that can keep you competitive while you figure out what's next. Whether you need to find a new quarterback or Jalen Hurts becomes the guy, I think he's a reasonable, competitive stopgap player if he's not that franchise quarterback. You're not going to fall apart and be like this miserable team that has a quarterback that can't play, you know?
Well, where is Jeff Bohm and Pookie getting these sources? He says, I heard we were going to release Fletcher Cox. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's $16 million cap relief. So I wouldn't be surprised if they traded Fletcher Cox. Just where are you hearing this stuff? Why come I'm not hearing it?
That's a good point.
Why aren't you on that? Josh, what are you doing over there? You don't see that they're going to release Fletcher Cox?
We're clearly slacking.
What the heck are you doing over there?
Jeff's in the inside sources.
All right. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Here's an interesting, this is a different topic, but I just said to you, Boogie Cousins got released.
Yeah.
That scary at all? Murphy Brown?
Not really. I mean, it helps their Nets team, but yeah, I guess for their circumstances, yeah.
I would sign Boogie Cousins just to keep him away from them. He's a guy that can play the backup 4 position. He can shoot the 3. He can play minutes behind Tobias. Maybe take some of those nights where Howard's struggling. He's not a great defensive player, and he has an attitude problem.
Yeah, I think for the Nets, it's scary because they're so limited and because they don't have a deep team that them getting Boogie would be significant. But for the Sixers getting him, I don't know if we talk about taking that next step. Is Boogie?
Do you sign him just to keep him away from them and just sit his ass?
That's great in theory. I don't know if it's going to work out that way.
All right, we'll get into it. More Sports Bash on the way. 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. Don't forget, watch the show live at 97.3 ESPN. Now, Frank chimes in. Now, Frank is a good listener. He's like a capologist. Says nothing is out there about Fletcher or Jason. It's just clickbait.
Gotta hate that clickbait.
Well, he's not getting any money off me clicking on his thing there.
And Jeff Bohm and Pookie's a loyal listener here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a loyal guy, Jeff Bohm and Pookie.
Hey, watch the show live on our website, would you? We got into some baseball conversation. We can get back into that. But on the other side, coming up at 4:30 today, it's Tuesday with Thompson with the PT right here on the Sports Bash.
Turn it on. Leave it on. The Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
This month, let me offer you some presidential advice. Leave me, your dollar in your wallet when you get 0% APR financing from Matt Blatt Kia.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage, K5, and Forte models. Or take $4,000 off MSRP on new 2020 Kia Niros in stock. Plus Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers for Tier 1 and 2 credit for Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 for 1,000 power. 4,000 all 2020 euros for 2,500 Kia Motors factory rebate to dealer. 1,500 Matt Blatt Kia discount. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2021.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so their best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Feeling stressed in your skin? Not with new Olay body wash infused with skincare ingredient retinol. Olay with retinol improves skin 3 times better versus the leading body wash, transforming skin from dry and stressed to bright and smooth, so I can step into stressful days feeling my best in my skin. Olay Body, fearless in my skin. Now try Olay's other skincare-inspired body washes with hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and collagen.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
This season's hottest collection is dropping to a dinner table near you. Meet the new golden standard, Church's new Texas tenders, accessorized with butterfly shrimp. Snag your Texas tenders and shrimp meal for just $5. Church's, bringing that down-home flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 973ESPN.com.
All right, welcome back to Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And, of course, you can watch the show live at 97.3 ESPN. It's a Tuesday with Thompson. The Peachy's in the house. There he is. Pete Thompson is here. He will grace us with his presence and his knowledge and his opinions and his everything as he joins us via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. And hopefully his connection's a lot better than what I had to listen to on Friday, which was not very good, Peter.
Friday was brutal, wasn't it? You can hear me, right?
I do hear you.
Beautiful. I was trying to wear these headphones, but you know what I hear out of that? Absolutely stinking nothing. So,
well,
hey, at least I'm here and you can hear me and you can see me and I don't sound like crap.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah, I got a little speaker that's going, but it's far enough away from, I think, where I'm talking that, yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good that you can hear us. So there's so much I want to ask you about because I missed Friday, and I didn't do that on purpose.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I was starting to think you didn't like me.
Well, what happened was the game was Thursday night, St. Joe, St. Augustine, and then it got canceled, and they moved it to Friday. So
basketball games and schedules at this time of year are crazy and hectic. You know, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. In fact, that's why my time got changed. There's some basketball games here at school. And by the way, a huge thanks to my guy Anthony in IT. I wouldn't even be able to talk to you if he didn't set me up. He's a big fan of the show, Mike Gill. Anthony listens. It's Anthony, David, and Keegan are our IT team, if you will. And they made sure that we could connect today. So props to them.
Well, that's how this. So Anthony, Keegan, and who was the other one?
David. David's ahead of Keegan. Keegan was. Keegan's just. He's on the bottom rung. He's just coming in.
Well, they are bringing you this Tuesday with Thompson today.
There you go. For now, Tuesday with Thompson, sponsored by our IT department that got me on the StreamYard.
So I wanted to get your take on the whole Lake Tahoe thing. Was it a good deal, a bad deal? When the dust settles on that whole debacle of Saturday, and then they moved the Flyers game from 3 to 2, from 2 to 7:30. Then you had a shadow on the ice for half the game. I'm wondering, like, as a guy who, I'm sure was really excited about this, what you felt about the overall product.
I mean, what's funny is, and as you know, I was tied up with teacher training on Saturday. So by the time I finally turned the game on Saturday, they were doing that huge long fill of like, are we going to come back? Are we not going to come back? And I thought, oh God, they could have huge egg on their face here. I don't know if you remember, Gil, but when they played the game at Citizens Bank Park, there was supposed to be like a media skate, and then there was going to be a media game, and they were really going back and forth because the sun was shining that day and the ice was like too soft. So, I mean, sun is the mortal enemy of any of these outdoor games and these outdoor rinks. So my whole take on it is this: anything that grows the game of hockey, I'm a big fan of. So I was a huge fan of the location and the scene set and all that stuff. That said, yeah, it didn't quite come off the way that I think they were hoping. I mean, they had to play a game at midnight, for God's sakes, midnight Eastern time, just to get that first game in on Saturday. Then, like you said, the sun was like right in everybody's eyes. On the first period, it was very difficult to watch. And then, of course, thanks to the Bruins, the game was over by the second period, so they had to get creative and fill stuff. I mean, the Bruins, good Lord. I think I'm finally going to learn how to spell his name right. It's Pastrnak. There's no pasta in Pasternak.
That is true, and then there's some accents and on top of some of the letters there, by the way. But the problem I have is, why are we doing this in these cities where it's so hot? You can go to Canada, you can go to all these places. Now, COVID-19 plays a role in this season, but in general, why are we doing it in these locations? You could find that scenery in so many other areas that will be more cold. And I know it can't be too cold because these players have to play, but you're telling me that's the best spot you could find. You can't find somewhere in the middle of colder and still beautiful and
North Dakota.
Right in Carson Wentz's backyard. I think he'd be open to having the Flyers, anything Philadelphia related, right in his backyard in North Dakota.
I mean, the way the weather's been, there was like snow on the beach in Texas, right? The whole middle of the country was freezing cold for a long period of time. I see your point. And yes, Brodes, they did do one in Canada early on, like before they really got kicked up. There was a Canadian outdoor game between, I want to say it was Edmonton and probably Calgary, I would assume, right? And they played an outdoor game, and it was really cold. And I heard you, Gil, the other day talking a little bit about the fact that, sometimes they have to come up with these wacky rules because there's like a 15-mile-an-hour headwind. So, you split the period in half, and 10 minutes you're going to go one way, and 10 minutes you're going to go the other way. That's the nature of the beast, I mean, So you might argue that some of these outdoor games are getting too tricked out and it's too much. Just play the one on New Year's Day and that's it. But, I think anything that grows the game. And then, since we're on an ESPN affiliate, boys, there's talk that when this hockey deal comes up, because, of course, NBC Sportsnet is going, bye-bye, see ya, out of here, sayonara. So, boy, I would love to see hockey back on ESPN. I don't know quite what the deals are, but people are already talking like, bring back Gary Thorne. Bill Clement, come back out of retirement. You guys are on, get hockey on the network.
I'm surprised you didn't want OLN or Versus.
But now, why don't you go back to the glowing puck and really piss me off?
Unbelievable. But
look. Do you know, by the way, Brodes, the only good thing that came out of the glowing puck, and Gill, you might not know this either, and this is actually something I teach in my television class here at ACIT. Do you know that the first down technology, the yellow line technology, only was possible because of that stupid glowing puck? I hated the glowing puck. But that was what made them realize that they could put in digital or CGI yellow line on the field and overlap that. The puck technology that they found for that, they then incorporated into putting down first down markers and all that stuff. And, of course, that's just grown and grown and grown. So we have the glowing puck to thank for everything we enjoy about NFL broadcasts.
How about that? Now, look, are you concerned after watching Carter Hart? Are you concerned with his play this season? Is it scaring you, or is this just a product of what's in front of him? Because I think it's both. The product.
I don't know both, but I'm definitely concerned because especially when they play Boston too. I mean, here's the deal: Carter Hart is still capable of stealing you a game. Carter Hart is obviously the franchise goalie, but he's had some moments this season. And yes, to your point, the defensive core was shorthanded for a while, but now you can't blame the defense on the debacle that took place in Tahoe. Everybody was there. Phil Myers was there. Sanheim was there. Everybody was there and playing and healthy. And Provorov, you can't blame the D-core. Gostisbehere, usually I love to pick on Ghost. I couldn't even really yell at him. Carter Hart let in some leaky ones, quite frankly. And I don't know if that's a victim of being out of his element. Remember last year where he was dominant at home, but he had trouble on the road? In fact, I watched him play on that horrific road trip where they were, what was it? It was San Jose to Anaheim to LA to Vegas. And I know Elliott played one of the games in there, but Carter Hart was brutal. He was bad. Now his defense was bad in front of him. Like Justin Braun was awful in front of him the night that they played in San Jose. They did like a welcome back montage tribute to Justin Braun, and it was like, dude, Braun, you don't play for San Jose anymore. Stop turning the puck over.
Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. Yeah, Flyers back tomorrow night, by the way, against a Rangers team that beat them on Thursday night. So that's tomorrow right here on 97.3 ESPN. Then I got a back-to-back this weekend with Buffalo, Saturday and on Sunday. You'll hear both those games on 97.3 ESPN. So that's on the Flyers side of things. I want to get your take. Obviously the Carson Wentz trade is now in the books, and he's moved on. But what do you think they should do now? Hurts, veteran, draft at number 6, or trade up and get a player higher in the draft?
No. I'm 100% okay with Hurts and a veteran quarterback coming in, and then maybe even trade down, get more pieces, right? Because if Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith are both gone, because I love wideouts and I love the fact that, there's 2 solid, really good wideouts in my opinion. If they're both gone, don't come on, Howie. Do not trade up. Do not go for a quarterback. Just give Hurts the full run. Give him a good offensive line in front of him instead of a scatter shot like a hodgepodge of guys in front of him. And then bring in some guy. Aren't all these guys going to be available, right? I mean, aren't there guys out there that are going to – Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to be maybe available? Aren't there guys out there, veteran quarterbacks?
Yeah, but how are you going to pay those guys? They have cap issues.
They have so many cap issues. That's true. What's the guy's name that got paid last year just to sit in Texas and be a high school coach? Bring him back.
Josh McCown. Right.
Josh McCown. I'm kidding, of course.
The problem is, like, somebody just texted this in a little while ago. He says, if the cap is Howie's specialty, why are they so far over it? Well, here's one thing. One of the reasons they're so far over the cap is because the cap got lowered significantly because of COVID.
Yes.
So they would not have been in this situation had it not been for the COVID. In other words, he had the plan to get rid of guys, I'm sure, like Deshaun Jackson and a couple of those guys, Malik, whatever.
Right, Malik Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, yep.
The problem is the cap dropped so significantly because of COVID that it's put them in this situation where unforeseen people are now going to have to be cut because they did not plan for the cap to drop. So I get that snarky remark is, well, if he's so good at the cap, why are they so far over it?
Right.
They weren't going to be that far over the cap had it not been to COVID, because I think the cap would have been going up 10 million instead of down by, 25 million?
If Howie was so good, don't you think he should have saw this coming?
Oh, come on. Nobody could see this coming. Nobody could see that the cap would – look, I mean, the fact that the cap it's not – didn't they just come out and announce that it's slightly like what the cap number is going to be is slightly – it's not a huge reduction, right? It's not as much as they thought it was going to be the ceiling, the floor where the cap's going to be.
Yes.
Right. But, Wentz is the problem. Your biggest money is what's that dead cap hit? 33 million or something like that?
Right.
Come on, it's ridiculous.
Now, a second part of this text, I want to get your guys' opinion on this because I don't agree with it. He says, and Roseman took Hurts in the second round last year. If he takes a quarterback, then he's admitting he messed up the Hurts pick. I don't agree with that at all, because if you know anything about the Eagles and follow them, they value that position and the capital it could bring you. In other words, we'll take Hurts with the hopes that we can maybe trade him off to get more in return. Like, that's the way they have constantly played that game. Like, they took Cobb thinking, okay, and then they end up trading Cobb. They've traded A.J. Feely. They've traded all of these backup quarterbacks and got good returns because they value not only the position, but what that position can net you in return.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Plus the fact that Howie's going on the record as saying we want to be a quarterback factory, dumb comment. And so, it wouldn't totally surprise me. I mean, look, if he drafts a quarterback, I wouldn't be shocked. But I'd be pissed. Would I be shocked? No, but I'd be angry that Howie did that again. I just don't think that that's what they have way more problems than who's going to be under center, whether it's Jalen Hurts, whether it's somebody else. They have way more problems than who's going to be their quarterback. They have a lot more issues to fix than that.
Well, some would say it's like when the Sixers did the process. The reason for the process was to find your MVP. They found that guy. Joel Embiid is now in the running for MVP. That's why you did that. You did it to find a player who could be the best player in the league. Could you also say the most important player in football is to find your quarterback? And I don't like this. Like, you keep drafting a guy until you find the right guy. But that could be the mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very much so. And I'm sitting here scrolling through names that are like on the bubble of guys that could be gone. Brandon Graham could be gone. We know Zach Ertz is basically gone until they can find somebody to take him. Jason Kelsey's actually pretty cheap. He's in the final deal of that $5.5 million season, but he might quit. He might say, I don't want to be part of this rebuild. I don't want to be a part of this at all. My body's given up. I'm done, So there's Derek Barnett. That's another one. Now, you and I go back and forth on that, Gill, about Derek Barnett. And yes, he was integral in one of the biggest plays in defensive Eagles history. But have they gotten their value out of Derek Barnett?
No. The answer is absolutely no. But I want to touch on the quarterback thing real quick, only because I don't feel, and look, I'm not the college guru guy that breaks down all of these college quarterbacks heading into the season, but from what I'm reading and the research that I'm doing with these quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, no one stands out to me that much where I really want to take that shot with 6, knowing we have Jalen Hurts as the back pocket. If there was somebody that moved the needle for me that I was really intrigued by, then it's a different story. But I'm not sold on Wilson. I'm not sold on Fields. And I'm not sold on these guys so much that I won't take my chance on Jalen Hurts instead,
I mean, my thing is I like them, but I just don't think they're going to be there at 6. And then that means you have to trade up to get them. And what are you trading up to get them when, again, there's more problems than just one position? Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, yeah, I'd love to have those guys in Eagle midnight green, but I don't think that's going to happen because I think they're going to be gone. My eyeballs were like, bing! Like I got like big saucers when I was watching Justin Fields sling it all over the place. I mean, that guy's got a cannon. But, do you really want to put all your eggs in the Justin Fields basket? Is that what you want to do? And what's it going to take to get a guy like that? I'm not, I'm with you, Brodes. I don't think there's one guy out there that said, now, but that's me. There's a guy that wears a suit and apparently has compromising pictures of Jeffrey Lurie because he keeps his job. His name is Howie Roseman, right? That's the biggest thing, guys. If I had $1 for every time somebody comes up to me here at work and says, how does Howie Roseman keep his job?
Okay. Well,
Tell me how this cat is still important.
I'm the guy who always has to defend this guy. But if you were Pete Thompson and you were the GM of the Eagles, and someone said, how does Pete Thompson keep his job? And you would say, well, in a 20-year span that I've been with the organization, we have the 6th best record in football. We have a Super Bowl. We've been to the Super Bowl. We've been to the playoffs. You have the 6th best record in the league. That means 5 teams in the entire league have a better record than you do. Why shouldn't I keep my job would be my answer.
Well, I always go back real quick to a lot of that is Andy Reid era, which significantly changes a lot. For me, personally, I think that a lot of that was carried by Andy Reid. That's not to take a knock at Howie Roseman, but that's a part of this. There's a lot of context involved. But go ahead, PT.
And my thing is I just go back to the picks that we could have had that we didn't have. You know, DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, guys that could have and should have probably been in an Eagles uniform, and instead they chose to go in an opposite direction.
Okay. I mean, that's 2 picks in 20 years, but
I got more. You want more? I got more. I'm sorry.
As of now, like the recent stretches of Howie since the Super Bowl has been tough for him. So I think the recent stretch has been.
I think that people are so stuck in the now. We evaluate the now. We don't care what you did in the past. The guy won the Super Bowl. Don't care. We were 4-11 last year. That's what we look at. But again, the Eagles, people say he has pictures of Lowry. Lowry's looking at big picture and saying, while this guy has been here with me, we've done nothing but win. We are always a successful team. How many times, PT, we talked about this, they have not had back-to-back losing seasons. I can't remember,
That's true. And by the way, if I was the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, we're talking like 1-14-1, I mean, we're talking like paper bags on the head, like the Saints fans in the 70s, people like chucking D batteries at me when I walk through.
And look, you mentioned DK Metcalf, and it's frustrating. But guess what? He got picked in the 2nd round. It wasn't like this guy was there at 5 and you passed on him and he went 6 and he turned out to be Randy Moss.
All right.
How
about Jordan Matthews over Devontae Adams?
That was Chip Kelly. But that being said, Justin Jefferson, you can make an honest argument to say, why did you take him? Now, I don't think Jefferson has the year that he had in Minnesota if he's here, so we're probably thinking Jefferson was a bust if he was here because he probably wouldn't be as good. But again, it's like the Eagles are one of the best franchises in football over, fine, not a 20-year span, but a 10-year span. Like over 20 years, they have the 6th best record. I don't know what it is over a 10, but the guy was the GM of the team when they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do you have pictures? I have a Super Bowl. Whose pictures do you have?
Yeah, what did the Super Bowl do for Doug? What job security did that give him? Nothing, right? And by the way, not for nothing, but can you guys explain to me, why are Eagles wide receivers like a Flyers franchise goalie? Like once in a lifetime. It's like Haley's Comet, Until Carter Hart came along, you had Ron Hextall, Pelle Lindbergh, and Bernie Perron. Boom, 3. That was it. When you sit back and you look at the Eagles' history of great receivers, you tell me, T.O., right? Harold Carmichael is going into the Hall of Fame.
Mike Quick.
There's 3.
Fryer.
How many?
I said Irving Fryer.
Oh, but he was more of his stuff came with another team.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not. So you're going 4? That's a pretty bad batting average over the years. It's just one of those positions that they can't seem to get right.
All right, Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. Now, this is a good question for the PT because you covered high school sports for a while in this town at the old NBC 40. Name an athlete you watched play before they became famous. Now, I said Mike Trout, but I watched him play basketball, not baseball. And Brodes said that doesn't count.
I'm out on that.
Yeah, I heard this debate the other day when I was driving home and enjoyed it thoroughly. Now, I did see Mike Trout play, shot highlights of him, but I only could shoot one at bat, and that was at Apsagami. And I remember that he hit a ball to like left center field, and you follow the ball, right? So he hits the ball, I follow the ball to the outfielder, and then I go down about, somewhere between first and second base where I expect him to be. Mike Trout, the Millville Meteor, was damn near touching third base on a routine fly. I was like, holy jinx, this guy is fast. Right? I couldn't believe it, how fast he ran from the plate, to get that quick around. He was around second and on his way to third, basically as the guy was like catching the ball. It was nuts. So I did see Mike Trout play. Another Mike, and this is in an opposite sport, I watched Mike Kaskey, and I know, Gill, you talk about that game. Gene Allen, if he's out there somewhere, Gene Allen from AC Vikings is like shaking, like, oh, man, that kid almost killed us. He was jumping out of the gym, Mike Kaskey was, for Southern Regional playing basketball. So that's the off sport. But, yeah, I would say Mike Trout's probably got to be my guy.
I said Mike Kaskey yesterday as well. I watched him play basketball. I called that game. And that dude was insane.
Yeah. PT, I remember doing an ACBL game with you, and you were showing me how to shoot the baseball, except you missed the one home run because you're like, I'm going to put the camera down for a second.
Oh, I'm the king of home runs that I've missed. Absolutely. Absolutely. If I had $1 for every home run I'd missed, I'd be a rich man.
That's amazing.
Trust me, the ACBL teams always let me know it too.
Quick bite of the hot dog, and damn it, that's where they hit the home run. No, I'm just having fun with it. I don't know if that actually happened, but hey, you're the one that admitted to the problem, not me.
Oh, it's evident. It's there. The other thing that's tough is you wait for the sky to get dark enough so you can actually see the white baseball leaving the yard, deep and gone. That's what you're looking for.
All right, Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson here on the Sports Best Live on 97.3 ESPN. He'll be back for Happy Hour Friday, and the Flyers back in action, Sixers back in action. Also, Phillies spring training. When we get to Friday, it'll be the eve of the weekend for Phillies spring training, and looking forward to that. And he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. All right, Peter.
All right, guys, good seeing you. Good talking to you. We'll do it again on Friday.
All right, Happy Hour Friday. Don't forget that. Pete Thompson, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Mike and Brodes taking you till 6 o'clock tonight. And, man, oh, man. Whoo, baby. We got some Phillies conversation we want to get back into. We had some good Philly stuff. I'd like to get back into this Eagles conversation, too, because I literally feel like this is one of the most intriguing all seasons I can remember, going back to, man, I'm trying to think. When was the last time I was this? Had it be the year they drafted Lane Johnson?
So I'm intrigued, but I'm sad. I hate that we're here, but intrigue makes it feel like it's a positive thing, though. I'm interested to see how they figure this out, but I'm not happy that we're here.
Well, because I think it's such a tangled web. I'm so intrigued to see how they're going to get out of it.
Right. But I don't want to be in this tangled web, so that's the problem.
This hour brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bet, take your profit, find out how at PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. All right, when we come back, we got some news on the way. We got to share with you guys out there. Plus, don't forget, no Pete Thompson. We just did Pete Thompson. I was going to say Tuesday with Thompson at 5. We just did Pete Thompson. I forgot already that he was gone.
You're unbelievable.
Well, I'm just so
repetition
that he's on at 5 o'clock on Tuesday.
Right.
I didn't eat dog food.
I would never do that.
Back with more.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Euro steps by him and scores it up and good. What a move. Are you kidding me?
The Sixers are in Tampa to face the Raptors. Tonight, coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
On some models excludes Corvette. With GMF financing, excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
It's President's Day all month long at Bennett Chevrolet with our biggest, boldest, best deals ever, saving you up to 25% off MSRP on brand new vehicles. Right now, Bennett Chevy is selling brand new vehicles at GM supplier employee pricing. Plus, you keep all the rebates that can save you as much as 25% off MSRP. But there's even more ways to save with 0% financing available. Plus, if you're looking for pre-owned, Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's a minimum $7,000 for your trade, no matter its condition. Imagine how much more you'll get for a good trade. And once you've dealt with our non-commissioned sales team, you'll rave about the wonderful experience with no need to negotiate and no hassles, because our team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's President's Day all this month at Bennett. Find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
My stomach.
Don't worry, I've got you covered.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
What's that?
It's Pepto-Bismol Chews.
Pepto-Bismol's in a chew?
Yeah, they taste great and provide fast relief. And you can always have Pepto-Bismol handy.
Ooh, let me try it.
Try Pepto-Bismol Chews for fast relief.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Heath Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Plus, earn double O-Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G, with 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G, for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 973ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadlees.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to the PT for our Tuesday with Thompson. We got you till 6 tonight. Going to get into some more Eagles. I'd like to get back into that Phillies conversation about the lineup because they're going to be starting down there next week. And Alec Bohm is a guy that I'm very intrigued by what they might do with him in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also going to be some great college basketball this weekend, by the way, Gil. And it's not quite March, but that doesn't mean that college basketball fun has to wait. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is giving all new players the chance to bet $1 on any team to hit a three-pointer in any basketball game this week. And if your team makes it rain, you cash $100. Must be 21 or older. Use code 973 when signing up. New Jersey only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So I had mentioned on Twitter the other day some good news and some bad news. Some good news is we've been doing the video. We're going to be expanding the video to even more and more and more. Bad news is Brodes won't be here. He's leaving the show on his own terms. He's got so much going on with his Brodes Media, and you can check him out, and we encourage you to continue to do so with Coffee with Brodes, Sports Talk with Brodes. He just got Brodes so much.
I know.
That this 4-hour ditty is getting in the way of life.
Yeah, it's look, this has been one of the greatest 2 years of my life. I love to hear. I love talking sports every day, coming into work with you and Josh. It's been amazing. And I just look back on it. It's been such a great time in my life. So it's just surreal. It really is. But I appreciate everything you and Josh did for me here. And we're going to ride out this week with a bang.
We will. We will have fun the rest of the week. And obviously at Brodes81, you'll be able to continue to follow him and check out all the stuff that he's doing at Brodes Media. And obviously, we said good news, bad news, but the bad news was for good reasons. And He's got other options, opportunities that he can take advantage of, and we encourage him to do so. The good news is, as we said, you've been watching the show live. We're going to be expanding that. We're going to be doing a lot more. We're going to be doing a lot more with the video show, and we will have more details on that. So the good news is the people who are watching the show, it's going to be bigger and better and even more and more and more features and stuff that you will be able to interact with us on the video portion, and even more news on that down the road. The bad news is Brodes is leaving at the end of the week. We're sad. We'll be back, though, with more.
Sign up now for this year's $1 Million Bracket Challenge. Registration is underway now at 973ESPN.com and the free mobile app until the tournament begins. The listener whose bracket has the most correct will win a $500 golden getaway in Atlantic City. Thanks to our friends at GoldenNuggetSports.com, and the top 20 listener brackets will receive a free bet at GoldenNuggetSports.com. So register for the $1 Million Bracket Challenge.
Hell yeah!
Now at 973ESPN.com or the free mobile app. Must be 21 plus to place a bet. Only available in New Jersey. Free bets are for online sportsbook only. Please see website for terms and conditions.
A national championship.
So head to 973ESPN.com or the free mobile app and register for the $1 Million Bracket.
Bigger, better Boardwalk, Boardwalk Honda. Bigger, better Boardwalk, Boardwalk Honda.
Your brand new Honda is waiting for you at Boardwalk Honda. Stop in and shop our complete new inventory. Accords, Civics, CRVs, you name it. And we have a great selection of SUVs with all-wheel drive capabilities, perfect for snowy conditions. Right now, lease a new 2021 HRV LX all-wheel drive for just $99 a month. Or lease a new 2021 CRV EX all-wheel drive for $189 a month. Plus, browse our entire selection of pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas. We have it all from store to shore. We're sure to have the vehicle you want at the price you want. Plus, we work with all credit situations. Boardwalk Honda partners with over 25 top financial lenders, so we'll help you get approved and on the road in your new Honda in no time. Visit Boardwalk Honda today, located in Egg Harbor Township, or shop online at boardwalkhonda.com. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal.
Bigger, better Boardwalk, Boardwalk Honda.
Call us toll free at 844-890-3390 for more details.
Body Armor Light isn't just a sports drink. It's more than a sports drink. With no artificial sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories per 16-ounce bottle. Body Armor Light is changing the game when it comes to hydration. Plus, potassium-packed electrolytes, coconut water, antioxidants, and vitamins make Body Armor Light the perfect choice for your next workout and your active lifestyle. Body Armor Light, more than a sports drink. Head to drinkbodyarmor.com to learn more.
Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich is now in the 2 for $5, and that's reason to celebrate. Try the new classic and then take your mouth on a victory lap with the iconic Dave's Single, the delicious spicy chicken sandwich, spicy or crispy 10-piece nuggets, or just get another classic chicken sandwich. Taste greatness today with Wendy's 2 for $5. We got you.
For a limited time, a la carte only. Price and participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's.
Hello, Cape May County. This is County Commissioner Len Desiderio, co-chair of the County Recovery Task Force. We know that there are a lot of questions about the COVID vaccination. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov for information and to register in the state system. The beginning of this effort has been very challenging as we wait for the federal and state governments to implement distribution. But we already lead the state in vaccine administration, and we are ready to expand our efforts as soon as the state distributes larger amounts of vaccine to us. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov and click to register, and check back often for more information. You will then be notified by the state when your turn comes about how to schedule your appointment. Go to capemaycountynj.gov and register now. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov for information and to register in the state system. Let's vaccinate safely together.
ESPN Radio.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
My name's Barry. I live right above you. I don't host parties. I host after parties. They're like parties, only louder and nobody goes home. You can see right here, I ripped out all the carpeting because it was holding me back, my pogo stick. Man's got a pogo. Oh, I'm a prankster. I'll grease up a soda can and then when somebody grabs it, boom!
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor, but we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure, we can help you knock that oil change right off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99, plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast, right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey.
Leave on the score. I'll make you go.
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
Mike and Brodes taking you till the top of the hour tonight. Don't forget game night. Jason Blevins is live in Tampa. He'll join Josh at 6:20. He is at Sixers and Raptors tonight. You'll hear the preview from balmy Tampa, Florida. Now, I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm not going to Philly spring training this year. It'll be the second year in a row. Now, normally I go coinciding with the NCAA tournament. They're changing the tournament this year. Do you see this?
The dates of it.
The days. It usually is Thursday, Friday. You get the first round. Well, you get the first 4 game Tuesday night, Wednesday night. The first 4. Like that team that plays that no one cares about.
Right.
Those games in Dayton.
Yeah.
That's like the games on Tuesday, and then the winners of those games play like the 1 seed.
Right.
Or then the one of the winners goes to be the 9 seed.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes it's not just that 16 seed, yeah.
And then they do the same thing on Wednesday, and then boom. Well, this year they're playing those games on Thursday at 4 o'clock is the first one. They're like 4. I guess there's going to be a couple of them. Boom, 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 boom. Then they're starting the tournament on Friday. So you're getting the first round on Friday, Saturday, and then the second round on Sunday, Monday. So on Monday, you're going to get games all day starting at noon.
I mean, that's cool in theory, but you got to keep it the way it is. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for me was a holiday when it came to March Madness. Now, last year we didn't get that opportunity, but that's what we have. We have a group of 4 of us that camp out 4 days, nothing but beer, pizza, wings. Like, we just go crazy for 4 straight days and just enjoy basketball. And now this is throwing us in for a loop. That's for sure.
Well, listen, I literally went to Clearwater every year for the tournament. And from noon to midnight, we're watching those games at an establishment.
Yeah.
Thursday, I had to be in my best drinking shape of my life for those 4 days.
No doubt.
Noon to midnight. Now, my girlfriend came with me. We didn't go last year because of COVID. The year before, she was with us. And me and my buddy Todd that go down to spring training every year, she came with us to the bar to watch the game the first day.
Okay.
The second day. By the third day, halfway through the game, she's like, all right, I am out of here.
She's done.
Can't handle it.
Couldn't hang.
Well, she could. It was just like, I can't sit here and watch basketball drinking beer for 3 straight days. And I said, well, we're doing it again tomorrow.
Well, she probably just doesn't care about basketball either while you guys are sitting there high-fiving, looking at the spread.
She doesn't not care. And I think she's like the person that's like, you guys are having fun. It's fun. Like, whatever.
Right. She's embracing the environment she's in.
Correct.
Yeah.
But she's not like some huge college basketball fan. But the fact that that's what we were doing and that's what but it's like, I can't, okay, I just can't sit here and watch basketball all day for 4 straight days. And I said, oh, I can do it. So I just saw the tournament schedule and I'm thinking to myself, should I sneak down there for, they have the games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Why don't I sneak down there for a little Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Now, I'm not going to tell you no. If I were you, I'd try to. You think you can pull it off, though?
Well, I mean, the games start Friday at noon.
Yeah.
I could probably get a flight to get me there by 10:30.
But would your buddies be in on this, right?
Well,
I mean,
that's the thing. I sent a text to my buddy, and I said, hey, what do you guys think of sneaking down there? Because, it's nice weather. Go down to the beach, bring the TV, had the games on, bring a little, I don't know that I feel like sitting in an establishment yet.
Right. Especially in that town down there, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, but the weather, man, it made me think of Blevins. I saw a picture of him outside with the short sleeves on.
Ooh.
I went short sleeves outside today.
Yeah, you did. Well, I go here. I got a little sweater. When I walked in,
I
we
wore
were
a sweater.
combination.
I bought the zip with me, but I took it off. I said, it's like 49 degrees. I'm going short sleeves.
Well, you said something to me yesterday that hurt my feelings when we were leaving the building because I said I didn't want snow anymore, and you said I can't, kind of ripped me a little bit. Whoa, you can't go back.
Yeah, you're like they do, flipping.
Well, the problem is...
Oh, I love the snow.
I do. The problem is people here are morons when it comes to the snow, so when I experience it in Vermont, people know what to do. If it snows a half an inch down here, the roads are shut down for 3 hours. It's like, yo, fellas, let's go. Let's figure this thing out. So I hate it here because no one knows how to work around it. That's my problem. It slows everything down. Like, let's go.
That factors into your decision on whether you want snow or not. Well, going in that people around here don't have a clue what to do with the snow, so you have to factor that in. Do I really want that and deal with the people around here?
Right. But I want spring because I want baseball. I don't want spring because I want spring. I just want baseball. There's a difference.
All right. So let's talk about some baseball.
I got 2 lineups here that I'm kind of intrigued by. I wrote 2 down that I like. One I think you're going to rip apart.
Fine.
And the other one I think is more up your alley. Which one do you want me to start with?
Well, I gave you mine.
Yeah. I like yours. You want to repeat it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I go McCutchen. I'm trying to find the one that I saw to where Bohm was hitting in the lineup. I could have sworn it was from Todd Zalecki at Phillies.com.
This is when he was batting too deep for your liking?
He was 6th.
Okay. I have him in 6th in one of mine and 5th in the other.
Bohm?
Yeah.
I don't like that on either.
But
so
that just
both
shows
the lineups
depth.
you're about to give me, I don't like.
It's about depth.
Here it is. McCutchen. He has McCutchen, Hoskins, Harper, Real Muto, Didi, Bohm, Segura, Kingery, Nola.
I honestly think that's what you're going to get.
I would go McCutchen, Harper, Bohm, JT, DD, DD, Hoskins, Segura, whoever plays center, the pitcher.
Well, yeah, Todd Zalecki is pretty much, I was just thinking that. That means he sees Kingery as that center fielder almost.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what are you hearing about Kingery?
So he cut some weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he cut some weight apparently. And you know what? He
had COVID last year.
He did. What he said something really interesting to the media about his contract. And he said, once you get a contract like that without really proving yourself, there's 2 ways you can go. You can either be really worried about having to live up to that, or you just go play, be you, and look, I got my money, go play baseball. And it did seem early on in his career, he was saying, like, I got stuck into that mindset of, wow, I got nervous. I had to live up to that money now. And it seems like he's in a better mental spot when it comes to the approach of the game. So maybe that took a toll on him. Constantly thinking about, I need to live up to this. And he wasn't able to produce at that rate to the liking that he wanted to. And now it seems like he's in a better spot mentally. I just wonder how much that could play, especially in a mental game like baseball.
See, I know that a lot of people, I feel that Kingery is a good baseball player.
I don't disagree with that. I think he's a super utility guy almost. Is like where I think he's like the best of the best of the best utility guy you can get.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe if he just came up as a second baseman, all that would be like, he wouldn't have to like have all these worries of learning a new position, learning how to play third, learning how to play short, learning how to play center, learning how, well, not only did he have this contractual thing that you just talked about, they also said, we value you so much, we want you to play shortstop, third base, center field, second base. And it's like, I got the contract. You got to learn how to play second. You got to learn, there's a lot there. But I feel like, okay, so when I coach baseball, there's a lot of times that younger kids that play on the Little League field and then they come up to the big field, they don't have an arm yet.
Yeah.
So you have to play them. There's only one position in the infield they can play, second base, right? They have to play second base because they don't have an arm yet to play third or short. So you play them at second. They might be able to handle playing second base. Well, there's a lot of times where you might have a 15-year-old who his best position is second base. And he might even play second base at the high school. And you're like, And he's like, I play second base in high school. You have some 13-year-old kid playing ahead of me. And I explained to them, because I trust you playing other spots. I can't play the 13-year-old kid at shortstop. He doesn't have the arm. So I had to play you at shortstop.
But do you think that that makes a lot of sense? But at the MLB level, does that make sense?
Well, that's the thing, is that the manager is telling Kingery indirectly. Now, you should have this conversation with him. I'm sure that Gabe Kapler probably did, and Joe Girardi, by the way.
Right.
That, hey, look at this as I trust you. I believe that you can play other positions. Like, I know you can play second. I know you're better than that guy and you could play there. But I also believe you're my best guy here and my best guy there and my best guy there. So take that as he trusts me and use it as like,
but I don't have any
coach believes in me.
Sure. I don't think anything with Scott King. I don't know if there's a soul out there that's disappointed in anything Scott Kingery related
He hit terrible.
Defensively, I was saying. Defensively, when it comes to playing the field, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that side of him. Effort's there, work ethic's there, everything's there. He can play there. But yeah, it comes down to the offensive side. So in terms of where he's playing on the field, I don't think that that's an issue. Now, in 2019, that was his best year in a small window of his career here. It's not like he's played an insane amount of years, but in 2019, he hit 258 with 19 homers. Would that satisfy you if that's what you're getting? I mean, you're getting pretty much 20 home runs from a bottom-of-the-lineup guy hitting 258.
I don't like the 258, but in today's game, that's sadly acceptable. What was his on-base percentage?
I'd have to look that up real quick.
258 I don't like, but I know people have accepted that now.
Yeah.
I refuse to. That's an average hitter, and I'm being kind with average.
So his OBP was 315.
That's
But he's at the bottom of the lineup. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're talking about batting eighth. You get a guy batting eighth or
See,
so.
when I saw
Kingery,
I was hoping for a 2 guy.
Yeah.
Speed, power, can hit to all fields. The problem is he doesn't make enough contact. He strikes out so often. He looks bewildered at the plate so many times. But 258, I don't love. But if you gave me 258 with 19 homers and whatever the numbers you gave at the 8 hole, then I think you got a pretty good player.
Right, in the 8th hole. And that's the problem. It's like, what was the expectations when he signed that contract? To be an 8th hole guy, that was just more of your super utility role player? Or did you expect him to be much better? Like, at the back end of this contract, he's making about $13 million a year.
I have a question for you then.
Yes.
Okay, so you have Kingery, you have Hasely, you have Roman Quinn, and you have Odubel Herrera, right?
Yes.
Got to throw Odubel Herrera into this mix now, correct?
Definitely.
All right. So if I told you that Odubel Herrera was basically going to give you, his best season with the Phillies.
297, I think.
When he made the All-Star game.
Okay, that was the year after.
He hit his best year. Well, he had 286 with 15 homers, a 361 OBP. It's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
If I told you were getting that guy, where are you hitting him?
He would
was
probably
like the leadoff guy.
Yeah.
Well, he hit anywhere from 1, 2 to 3 when he was that guy. Now, those teams stunk.
He'd be like 7. He'd be after Bohm, and he'd be in that Segura Kingery range that we talk about now. He'd probably hit 7 after Alec Bohm. But that's deep. If you can get 286 with 15 dingers that far down in your lineup.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be thrilled with that.
Now, he had 25 stolen bases that year, too. And 361 OBP. I mean, see, that's a guy with those numbers, you would almost be, thinking about hitting in a little higher in the lineup.
Right. It would depend on what everybody else is doing. But what would you move? You got Kutch, Hoskins, Harper, Real Muto, Didi, Bohm. I don't know if there's much room for him to jump up in there.
What I want to see is, I got to check this out.
Especially it would work good with Didi, Bohm, Odubel. You can get a little.
I'm a big Didi fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Didi.
I want to see. All right, let's go.
Well, you can get left, right, left on them. Switch it up. You'd have Real Moot. It would be perfect. Left, right, left, right, left, right. You'd be working down that lineup just like they want to do.
I want to check out working out that lineup.
Damn right.
I want to check out where Herrera. Let's see here where he hits in the lineup. All right, batting first.
Oh, Cesar Hernandez. Who was it back then? Is that what you're looking up? An old lineup?
No.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I'm at Baseball Reference, and it tells you their batting average at every spot in the lineup.
Gotcha. I thought
so
you were
when he
looking
hits
at
in the number 1 hole, he's batted there 122 games he's hit leadoff. 289, 11 homers, 42 ribbies, 11 steals, 343 on-base percentage. Not bad.
Yeah, the problem is, what could Kutch do if he's not leading off?
Hit 8th. Hit 7th. Got a nice veteran down the bottom of the lineup. Takes pitches. I like it.
I'm trying to wait. Like, would it be more beneficial to have Odubel? Like, what? Go to Odubel in the later part of the lineup. What does he hit?
I will say this.
Sample size might not be big enough.
It's not. Well, the spottiest hit the most in the lineup is 3rd. He hit 3rd in the lineup, 201 games. He hits 279, 24 homers, 91 ribbies, 19 stolen bases, 339 OBP. So that's in the 3-hole. The next most he was in the 2-hole was 99 games. The next most after that he was in the 6-hole. 71 games, he hit 280. And then he hit 7th 60 times.
This is interesting.
It definitely adds a interesting wrinkle to this.
Yeah, for sure. But the problem I'm having is...
Because if he's there and he's in the competition,
Yeah.
which all signs are pointing to he's there and in the competition, you got a guy... Now, I don't know which guy you're getting, because the guy that you got in 2000... what year? I forget, because he didn't play
2018, I
last
think.
year.
He hit like 220-ish in that range. I mean,
No, 2018, he hit 255 with 22 homers and 71 ribbies.
What was the year he hit the 220?
Last year, but he only played 19.
Oh, yeah, he only played a 39-game sample size.
And he was terrible that year. But in 18, he hit 255, which I don't like. The on-base percentage 310, not very good, but he had a lot. He hit 22 homers. So his average in OBP went down, but his power numbers went up.
Welcome to baseball in 2021.
So, yeah, it adds a different wrinkle. But I would take the 15, 16, and 17 version over that guy.
Yeah, the problem I'm having is because I think that Todd Selecki put out a lineup that, whether we, nitpick it or whatever, I think that's a realistic option. So if that's the most realistic lineup that Todd Selecki threw out there, where would Odubel Herrera fit best? Sadly, I think Reese is going to play in that 2 spot. They love him there. They love the walks. He had a couple of years ago where he walked about 116 times. They value that. Even if it means he missed a meatball down the pipe, they'll give him a golf clap for walking. Oh, yeah, well, I'm pissed off he missed a meatball down the pipe with someone on base in front of him because it should be a 2-0 lead. Yeah. But they love it. I don't know where Odubel fits in there. It's either you move Kutch and you put Kutch down the bottom of the lineup, or you move someone like Kingery and you slide, instead of Kingery batting 8th, you slide Odubel into 7 and move Segura down, and Segura's 8th.
In your opinion, who is the favorite to win the center field job? Who will play the most games in center field?
It's between Kingery and Odubel. I don't think Hazley is going to be that guy. I don't think they have faith in him to be that guy. They haven't given him that opportunity to hit against lefties for a reason, so he's limited right off the bat. I don't think Roman Quinn's going to win it, so I think it's like if Odubel performs, I think it's his job. Like if he performs, I think it's his job.
This is a total change from a week ago where we talked to Bob, and he was like, Bob from Crossing Broad, and he was kind of like, I think they're just kind of, he's got the contract. He's just kind of there. To now, he could quickly establish himself as the favorite to win this job.
Would you disagree with me?
Potentially hit the top of the lineup?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Would you disagree with me, though, between Kingery and Odubel? It might be between them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The last time from Odubel, I'm pretty sure he bats left-handed.
Yes, he does.
So then you could go with him as your left-handed center fielder and Kingery as your right-handed center fielder.
Well, I was also thinking, if the question is who will play more minutes at center field.
More minutes? What is it, power forward?
Who would have more playing time at center field? Because Kingery's so versatile and guys might have nights off, you're going to have the opportunity to throw Kingery at second base, at third base, at shortstop, where that might limit him from playing center field more times than not. Because what if someone goes down? What if someone gets injured? What if someone misses time? He'll play in other areas that would allow center field to be open for more players. So I don't know.
Well, I got something to throw into that mix.
Okay, go ahead.
Odubel Herrera, a left-handed batter, versus right-handed pitching, 277.
What about against lefties?
Versus left-handed, 276.
Oh, that's good.
So he does not hit any worse against lefties than he does righties. He has more power against righties. now he's faced them more, but he has 51 homers against righties, 9 homers against lefties. Now he's batted against righties 1,870 times, against lefties 622. So over more than half of his at-bats more against right-handed batters. But his batting average and his on-base percentage don't change barely at all. So you can even say
that's pretty impressive, though, to be that consistent, especially in today's game. Because, Adam Hastley, they don't give him that chance to bat against lefties, and maybe that's when because Kutch isn't going to play 162. So when he's not playing left field, that's where Hastley might be able to get some time.
Well, right. And then so Matt Joyce is here. Hastley's here. Quinn is here. Kingery is here. Herrera probably going to be here. Harper. That's 6 outfielders. That's 3 guys constantly not getting playing time. Now, you mentioned you could play Kingery at second. I don't know that he's in that mix. How many times is Segura going to sit?
Well, that's true. Right. But this is one, like last year, it's so weird because now we're playing 162. So some of these guys, and let's say something happens to Didi and he misses 2 weeks. Well, then Segura might move to short or whatever. Like, it's such a long season, the versatility of things.
Didi played all 60 games last year.
Yeah, he did.
So, I'm assuming he's a guy that's going to play, 152. Maybe he misses 10 games just for rest here and there. Kingery plays short on those days, right. I would imagine.
Yeah, or Segura. Yeah, they probably would.
But if Segura is your everyday second baseman, just keep him there and play Kingery at short.
Right, I agree with you.
Now, Segura played 54 games last year, but the previous year, I'm pretty sure, and I'll look this up, that he played 144 and 144. So that's about 20 games that would be open if they go by this at second base. So there's another 20 games that Kingery would then move to play second base, maybe 10 at short.
Yeah, he played third base too. So if Alec Bohm ever gets some rest, and or if Rhys Hoskins gets rest, and then Bohm plays first, and then Segura or Scott Kingery can play third.
Yes.
So there's going to be opportunities for him to move around the diamond.
Because keep in mind, everybody, there is no DH this year. So that means you can't have Hoskins DH and play Bohm at first and play someone at third, or play McCutchen as the DH and have someone play left field. There is no DH so far anyway.
I wonder what that means for JT, because I think a lot of the times last year they were able to throw Knapp in there more because you were still comfortable with having JT in the lineup. Now, Andrew Knapp had a better offensive season, so he's going to have an opportunity to keep that up what he did last year. But I do wonder, in the 162, without a DH, would that limit the time Andrew Knapp has compared to if there was a DH? You would feel comfortable with JT taking the night off behind the dish because you would at least have that bat in there. Now you really lose that.
Right, exactly. You and look, there's days where you could have JT be the DH, as you mentioned. You'd also have times where JT played first base, just to get him in the lineup and keep him and have him in the field.
Now, what's the doubleheader rule? Are they still doing the 7-inning guys, or are they doing the 9-inning norm? I haven't really heard any news on the double. They are doing the 7-inning doubleheaders. Okay, and I know they're doing that.
Are they definitely? Because I had read that they weren't doing the 7-inning doubleheaders. They weren't doing the DH. They weren't doing the.
No, they were doing the second base in extra innings, right? You start on second base.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking up 7-inning doubleheaders, and runners on second base to start extra innings will return for a second straight season under an agreement for 2021 health protocols reached Monday.
Okay.
This was on February 9th. So 7-inning doubleheaders and the second base to start extra innings are both in play. I hated that second inning, or I hated that second base thing. Hated it.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
Now, do you like the 7-inning double discos?
No, because give me more baseball. Give me 10 hours of baseball instead of 8. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Sports Bash Live. Yes, I do know what you're saying. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, watch the show live on 97.3 ESPN.com. Yeah, you can watch the show live video streaming on our website, 97.3 ESPN.com. You can be a part of the show on the stream. You can always text 609-403-0973 and be a part of the show that way as well. The Sports Bash is brought to you by Copiers Plus, providing quality products and services to South Jersey businesses since 1986. Service is their specialty. Visit them online at copiersplus.com. It's the Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. When we come back, all right, so we just talked a lot of Phillies there, and I love talking baseball.
Oh, you know that.
But I am being pulled in my mind back to this Eagles conversation. I have an Eagles point I want to make, and I want to see your reaction to it, and I want to get the people's reaction to this Eagles conversation. So we'll bring that back on the other side. It's the Sports Bash Live. And don't forget, tonight, Jay Blevins, 6:20, game night with Josh, all right here on 97.3 ESPN. Hey, don't forget the $1 million bracket. You can sign up now at 97.3ESPN.com. The bracket will, with the most correct, wins a $500 golden getaway in Atlantic City, thanks to our friends at GoldenNuggetSports.com. The top 20 brackets receive a free bet at GoldenNuggetSports.com. You must be 21 or older to place a bet. Available only in New Jersey. Free bets are for online sportsbook only. Please see the website for terms and conditions. But go to our website right now and register for the $1 million bracket. You register, and then when the bracket is live for you to fill out, you'll get an alert sent to your phone to remind you, hey, fill this bracket out. Selection Sunday is almost here. This is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Euro steps by him and scores it up and good. What a move. Are you kidding me?
The Sixers are in Tampa to face the Raptors. Tonight, coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Bigger, better Boardwalk, Boardwalk Honda. Bigger, better Boardwalk, Boardwalk Honda.
Your brand new Honda is waiting for you at Boardwalk Honda. Stop in and shop our complete new inventory. Accords, Civics, CRVs, you name it. And we have a great selection of SUVs with all-wheel drive capabilities, perfect for snowy conditions. Right now, lease a new 2021 HRV LX all-wheel drive for just $99 a month. Or lease a new 2021 CRV EX all-wheel drive for $189 a month. Plus, browse our entire selection of pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas. We have it all from store to shore. We're sure to have the vehicle you want at the price you want. Plus, we work with all credit situations. Boardwalk Honda partners with over 25 top financial lenders, so we'll help you get approved and on the road in your new Honda in no time. Visit Boardwalk Honda today, located in Egg Harbor Township, or shop online at BoardwalkHonda.com. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal.
Bigger, better Boardwalk, Boardwalk Honda.
Call us toll free at 844-890-3390 for more details.
Chrissy is refinancing her home, so she shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting her up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision she'll never regret, unlike wearing tap shoes to a surprise party.
Sorry, guys. Just trying to find the perfect hiding place.
Pretty regrettable, Chrissy. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating. Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G, with 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
Last night's sleep? Interrupted by pain? Tonight, silence it with new ZQL Night Pain. Restful sleep, now with powerful pain relief. ZQL Night Pain combines America's #1 sleep aid with a maximum strength pain reliever. So you can fall asleep fast and wake feeling rested, because pain should never get in the way of a great night's sleep. New ZQL Night Pain. Silence pain. Sleep soundly. Available at retailers near you.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
You have the choice, whether it's going out for dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses.
Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Dennisville Fence, serving you since 1952. Be the envy of your neighborhood.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts and rebate incentives. Visit iwantcomfortnow.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media, South Jersey.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 973ESPN.com.
All right, Mike and Brodes, still 6. Don't forget, coming up tonight at 7:30, it's Sixers and the Raptors. Tom McGinnis on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN. Now, I have an Eagles question I want to ask you. Okay. Get your opinion on it. Would you rather trade Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, the veteran players, one of these, like some of these guys, trade them off, get the assets, or keep those guys and see how well you can do if everybody's healthy, see if Hurts can play, give Hurts a fair shot with a really, I don't want to say a good team, but obviously, but with the veteran players around? Or would you rather them trade those guys, get yourself cap compliant, gain all the assets, and really strip this thing and start over? Which direction would you rather go?
I'd rather keep the guys because I think you can do the strip while keeping the Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Like maybe not a full strip, but I find value in heading into a season with guys like Fletcher and Brandon Graham in your locker room with the young quarterback, with the young head coach. Nick Sirianni, like believe it, people might want to think that, he's the head coach, he's the guy. There's something to be said about having these veteran players in the locker room, though, when you are a young guy who's never really had the experience of the play calling. So I value what they bring to the table off the field that can really help Jalen Hurts, really help Jalen Reagor, really help a lot of these young guys that are going to be the future of this team. So I say I would
full,
with it.
Like full Sixers mode. Like, hey, if you're 30 and you're a veteran, you're out of here. And we are going with like young guys. They're going to get all the snaps. They're going to play. And we're going to, what was the Sixers mantra? Together we'll build.
Yeah, that's right. Together we're built.
I was all for it. Give me that. But football's hard.
Like if you're, all right, this is what I'm thinking right now.
The Dolphins did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, if you're Joe Burrow, right, and you're playing for the Cincinnati Bengals and you're a 2-win team, but like you're learning on the job, do you think there's more value in that of like, or can you look at it from Jalen Hurts with Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham being a 6-7 win team? You're in that environment. You still think you can win rather than being on this team that is going to stink week in and week out, and you're just there to gain experience. Like I think there's more value in, yes, you're gaining experience, but you're also not on a dumpster fire 2-win team to the point where there's so much value in learning the tricks to the trade and learning what it's like to go into each week with the mentality of we can win this game. I think that's so crucial to the growth of the quarterback and these young guys and the coach, where I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose the commitment of, I don't want the Eagles to do 3 years of the process where all these guys go in each week of we're going to get destroyed. We're going to get annihilated. I think that's a flaw in growing as an athlete to the quarterback.
Well, I mean, the Dolphins did it a couple of years ago where everybody's like they're tanking. The problem was they were too good. You know what I'm saying? Like they ended up winning games. Like so. No, they had Ryan Fitzpatrick playing quarterback that year.
Right.
They didn't have a young guy playing quarterback for them. But
I don't want the expectations to be just stink, though. Like, let's sell all this. Let's just stink. I don't want that to be the mindset of our franchise with where they're at now with the young head coach. I want them. They might not be great, but I want them to, still have that competitive fire in them. If you commit to stinking, I just don't like what that means for the growth of these people that we want to grow into something serious. And who knows? Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm analyzing it too much. But that would be my initial thought to what you raised me.
Number one, I would never redo the process. I think it was a monumental success for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Sports,
and I was just going to say it. But basketball is basketball. Football is football. And when I thought about this, I said to myself, I said this, and I'll continue to say it. I think this Eagles team next year can go into the next season and make the playoffs. And that's why I'm not willing to throw a playoff team away. Might not be a Super Bowl team.
Product of a bad division. Sure.
Bad division.
Yeah.
Favorable schedule. Better than people are giving credit for offensive line, which I think is the most key thing to all of this, is that offensive line. If they can draft a couple of players in this draft to help them out, and I know everybody's saying, well, there's your problem right there. I'm not that skeptical guy. I'm giving the guy an opportunity. He has hit on guys in the draft. There are many players who play on this team that you guys out there listening like that Howie Roseman drafted. So I will take that and say, I'm going to give him an opportunity to draft number 6. Maybe he makes a trade. Maybe he adds a couple of pieces. Maybe he pulls a guy in the second round. They have 2 third-round picks. Maybe one of the 2 help this team out. The new coach, maybe he gets more out of Jalen Reagor. Maybe he gets more out of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I am intrigued, and we talked about, are you intrigued by this season, or what was the word you used? Sad.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, but I'm upset that we're here, right? Like, I don't want to be here, but now that we are here, circumstances brought us here. I'm almost fascinated with how they're going to maneuver out of this tangled web that they're in. But I see this team more of 6-10, 7-9, but the difference is they won't make you rip your hair out. Last year, and sort of like with the Sixers,
you had
too.
expectations last year.
Right. Now I think they're going to leave me in a spot where I can look at them after next season and feel like, okay, we're moving in the right direction after next year. So I don't think you're going to get the wins that you want to get, but in terms of the general vibe after next season, if they're 6-10, 7-9, it's okay. I can't wait to see what they do next year and build off of that. Like, I think that there will be momentum in the right direction after next year, even if it doesn't necessarily result in the win total that's sexy, if that makes sense.
It does. And again, I trade Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks and Zach Ertz, which is going to happen, which I don't mind that portion of it. I got no shot to compete.
I agree.
I got no shot. But you give me those guys, I can catch lightning in a bottle. If the quarterback plays well, the receiver takes a step forward, the offensive line is back and plays to the level that it played in its past. That, to me, is the biggest key, and I'm going to continue to tell you this. And when we get to September and October, and this team is – people are going to be, man, that offensive line's a big difference. I feel, and the Super Bowl, I think, told us this story. The offensive line is the single most important thing out there, and the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line cost them the Super Bowl. They were the clear favorites in that game. They were the favorites by Vegas still. And they couldn't do anything because of that offensive line problem. It lost them the Super Bowl. The Eagles offensive line cost them their franchise quarterback. It forced them to be 4-11-1, and it forced their coach to get fired. The last time they had this problem, 2012, they lost 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. It cost the coach his job. The offensive line can destroy seasons, and it can make an average team look better than they really are. And I think that's what you're going to see.
Yeah, maybe. And that's why last year I was pretty consistent on saying, well, Carson sucked. And nobody's denying that Carson didn't suck. I thought a lot of that had to do with the product around him, starting with the offensive line and the playmakers and the coach. And the problem is, I think that everyone had such a big hand in this occurring that it's hard for me to really point it out, because I thought so many people were the problem when you look at it all, because you don't just fall to that level of disgusting without it being more than just, it was more than one person's fault for sure. But I was definitely big on, while Carson was a major problem too was the surrounding pieces. And I think next year will be the telling sign of that. If you get your offensive line back, the problem is you don't have Wentz under center to see if that's truly the difference, but you'll see the flow of the team be different if Lane Johnson and Brooks all can return and play well.
Now, Dan is watching on Periscope. He says, I'm optimistic, but I have no idea what the Eagles will be. How can anybody? I think you're right. How could anybody know what the Eagles will be? My question is, then why are you optimistic? What makes you optimistic about this team moving forward?
Change, maybe. Maybe that's what it is, just the fact that change, something new, while Howie's still here, and some might look at that as not new enough. There's a whole new identity, a whole entire new coaching staff, a new quarterback. Change. I think the answer to that is change.
By the way, I feel like I'm the one guy that constantly has to somewhat defend Roseman. And I feel like I don't want to defend the guy, but I feel like it's just people who make
they go to the extreme that takes it too far.
But if you were to ask me, keep him or change, I would, without hesitation, say change. Because I agree that it is maybe time for a change at that position. It's not me saying I think the guy's an utter failure, and I think where he has failed has been in the personal relationship department, and that's a problem. I don't think he's the worst GM in the history of the world. I don't think he has pictures of Lowry. That being said, if you ask me, would I rather change or keep him, I would say change. Here's the one thing, and the guy texted this in earlier. Oh, I thought he was supposed to be so good at the cap. How did they get into this cap situation? If you are Jeffrey Lurie, you're thinking to yourself, this guy got us into the cap problem. He's probably the one guy that can get us out of it.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with you where, Andy Reid, it ran its course, great coach. No one's taking away what he did here, but eventually it was time. And with Howie, I think it's going to be eventually time very soon. And maybe Jeffrey Lurie knows that. Maybe he's playing the card of, look, he does know how to get us out of here. And once we get out of here, we're going to make that move and change. Like maybe not like he's using Howie Roseman, but I wonder if that's in the back of his mind.
I thought about this last night as we've kind of talked about, he could, like, my thought is he's a cap guy. One thing that he does really well is manage the cap. Okay, they have a cap problem. Who's the guy to get him out? Roseman. I feel like if he gets him out of the cap problem and they have a bad season, that could be a reason to say, look, I gave you a chance to fix the cap. You fixed the cap, and we still stunk. So maybe it's time for change.
But isn't that unfair? And I'm okay if that happens, of course. But if you're looking at it objectively,
yes,
knowing that this team isn't built properly because there's some flaws and they got to make some moves in the salary cap, is it fair to say, Howie, when you fix this mess for next year, we better win? Because the team isn't built to seriously compete to win. So if they win 6 games or so,
all right,
do you fire him?
I'm
because
talking
they didn't
dumpster fire.
Okay, so you're what win total? 4 and below?
Yeah, I mean, if you're 4-12 again, and you look bad, and your offense isn't moving, and it just looks like it's a mess. Like if you're not showing any signs of progress, that hey, man, big jump here from Rager. Big jump from J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I really like the direction we're going. I think it bodes well for him.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I agree with you. Yeah, I think next year, I do feel, because everyone says the Eagles will never move on from Howie, and that leash is so long. I think it's starting to hit the point where it's not that long. I think time is – Howie needs to prove himself to Lurie over the next couple of years. And maybe even the fan base – I don't want Jeffrey Lurie to listen to the fan base, but I do feel like there will be an extreme pressure at some point moving forward here.
I would give you 70-30. He stays. He's back again the following year.
But 70. I think that following season, it's going to be the telling year, though.
I know.
Yeah, that would be the year.
People are going to be like, if they stink again, you got to get rid of Howie.
Yeah, he's public enemy number one.
I got to tell you,
extreme.
I'm not like, just because I feel like I'm the one person. And look, again, I would replace him. I don't have a problem with replacing him. I just don't. Where I think he's the problem is relationship based.
Yeah, and when you're a manager, that's a problem.
Right. So, I mean, because there's a story out I saw this weekend that a league source says he is the one problem in the organization. Then somebody else rebutted on the other side and said he's not as big of a problem. I don't know whose side to believe. What I do know is this. I think there's enough evidence that Chip Kelly didn't like him. People didn't like him. He's probably a guy that you don't particularly like. The problem is I feel like people have these built-in biases. They don't like him not because of who he is. They don't like him because of the way he talks, the way he dresses, his name.
Yeah, if he had a deeper voice, you think people would like him?
Yes.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
If he weighed a little bit more.
So you think he's too skinny? Too skinny to be a GM?
He's in good shape. It's like that Seinfeld episode where Jerry was like, he was in really good shape.
I just saw that on Hulu the other day.
The one when he was in good shape?
Yeah, I was crushing through. I picked a random episode. I let him play for a significant amount of time. It's a 20-minute episode, so I was just rambling on. I think
he's clean. He's neat.
Caught that one. Yeah, he caught that one on the background noise.
I feel that if Howie Roseman's name was Howie Roseman and he looked like Joe Douglas, people would like him.
If he looked like The Rock. Am I going to an extreme?
Yeah,
here?
I think so.
All right, I apologize.
Yeah.
I do that
No,
sometimes.
Joe Douglas. If he was Howie Roseman, if his name was Howie Roseman, and he looked and talked like Joe Douglas, people would think differently of him. If he dressed like Joe Douglas, maybe he dressed like me. 3/4 zip, polo underneath, not wearing the suit and tie all the time. That just doesn't connect with people. The way he talks, people hear that and they judge him. All of that, I think if you took that out and he just looked and talked and sounded and acted like Joe Douglas, but he was still Howie Roseman making the same moves, wouldn't be nearly the criticism.
No, I think that's fair. I definitely think that is a very reasonable way to look at it. When you think about, I'm torn because I'm starting to fall in the category of like, we really do need to get something new in here. But the problem I have too is nobody seems to look at the success, and they seem to overlook that he ever had success. I mean, he did have success here, but with that being said, yeah, he did. He had success here, but at the same time, I think it's time to kind of freshen things up a little bit. But to act as if he never had success, that's where you get frustrated and you get annoyed because the people out there think that he's just bad move after bad move after bad move. No, there were glory times there. But look, the glory times as of late hasn't been after the Super Bowl, and that's what people get
if
mad
you're
about.
someone out there that likes these particular players, then you can't sit here and say Roseman hasn't done anything to help the team. Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Zach Ertz was another one of his draft choices. I mean, obviously Carson Wentz. People did like him.
The problem is with the draft is, you can point out, and this is for both sides. If you're a Howie guy, which is very limited amount of people, you can pick out the good ones. And if you're Howie haters, you'll pick out all the bad ones. It's weird to analyze how someone drafts because you have to look so big picture, because everyone can point out players that worked, players that didn't work, but it's more a stretch of time, like a window of time you have to look at. It's hard to analyze it because, you can pinpoint people specifically.
Right. It's just my point is people act like he misses all the time. And I'm saying there's many people on this roster that are here because he drafted them.
Right.
And they're players that you like. It's not just, hey, that guy's here, but he stinks. People like Goddard. People like Sanders. People like Ertz. People like Brooks. He didn't draft Brooks. He traded for Brooks. And by the way, he ripped them off.
Steal.
He drafted Lane Johnson. All these guys that were here and were successful players, he got here. Hey, guys, I want to tell you about my friends at Trifecta Therapeutics. Now, let me tell you, they are the premier sports rehab and performance center, and they're centrally located for all of our listeners right there in Glassboro. A lot of people on that Rowan campus are listening out in that way. I know those young guys like you're a Rowan grad. Those weekend warriors might get out there and tweak that ankle, maybe sprain that knee. The team at Trifecta has the only sports manual therapy fellowship trained doc on staff in all of New Jersey, and their team always takes a unique approach to physical therapy and rehab with each of their clients using treatment plans to get you feeling better, playing better, and of course, staying better. Trifecta Therapeutics offers a range of services for active lifestyle clients, including sports physical therapy, ACL injury rehab, script-free physical therapy, and sports performance training. Give them a call or visit them online at trifectatherapeutics.com. They're right there in Glassboro. It is very close by. They help the pros and the Joes alike. To find out more, check them out online, trifectatherapeutics.com. This is the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app, and watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on 97.3 ESPN.
He's a Super Bowl champion. Will he be remembered as a closer? No, that's Nick Foles. But he was the reason why they got the number one seed. More importantly, he will be a bystander of an organizational failure of monumental proportions.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
The average 30-second radio ad has about 75 words of salesy messaging. Nobody's got time for that many salesy words. Let's do ourselves a favor and see if we can keep it under 10. Okay, count it out. Acura, President's Day, event. Going on now. Attractive offers. One word to spare. Look at that. Acura. Less talk, more drive.
For attractive offers on the entire Acura lineup, visit your Delaware Valley Acura dealer today.
Last night's sleep? Interrupted by pain? Tonight, silence it. With new ZQL Night Pain. Restful sleep, now with powerful pain relief. ZQL Night Pain combines America's #1 sleep aid with a maximum strength pain reliever. So you can fall asleep fast and wake feeling rested, because pain should never get in the way of a great night's sleep. New ZQL Night Pain. Silence pain. Sleep soundly. Available at retailers near you.
Okay, moms and dads, you gotta check this out. Target has all the easiest ways to check off your kids' entire list and get them ready for school. Like Drive Up. Order ahead and Target will load your school order right into your car's trunk. No contact required. Check. Or my personal favorite, Target School List Assist. Check off your kid's actual class list in a click and have it shipped to your door. Check and check. This year, check everything off the list with easy and contactless ways to get ready for school. Only at Target. Restrictions may apply.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously, he's...
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
Maxwell, he was a runaway into rescue, great disposition. About 9 years ago, he was scratching a lot, and he started losing some hair. My vet, she says, oh, he must be allergic to the chicken. Another vet said, it's the grain. Third vet, she says it's the weather, something in the air. And then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. I had been listening to the Dynavite ads, hearing about different stories of different people, and it just clicked. I got my first 90-day supply, and it took a grand total of 2 weeks. And the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Dynavite is nutrition.
And Maxwell loves it. Now he's close to 10, and the Dynavite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
Dynavite for life. You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
And he's a spectacular dog.
DINOVITE.com.
We know you're spending a lot of time at home, and maybe that home could use a little TLC. Since going to a home show isn't really a thing right now, 97.3 ESPN FM is bringing the home show to you. Local exhibitors have been setting up in a virtual show featuring the latest products and services for your home. Go to 97.3ESPN.com to find great articles on home improvement tips and trends. Thanks to our friends at Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys.net, your trusted source for 3 generations.
You ready for competition? It's time for 5 questions.
3 ain't enough, man. I need 5.
Number 5 will always love. 5 times. Now can you dig?
All right, time for the 5 to get ready to wrap up the show. We want to obviously get you ready for the Sixers tonight. But before we get you there, what do you got?
All right, Sixers -2.5 on the road.
Jeff Nadu said Raptors.
Yeah, I kind of lean towards him. I hate to say it. What do you think?
You know what? I think Ben and Joel come up big tonight.
Ooh.
No Kyle Lowry, by the way, for the Raptors. And Jason Blevins is there. He was there the other night, too, and they lost. So I guess it doesn't matter. He'll be on game night tonight at 6:20.
Unfortunately, he has no impact on the outcome. It sucks. Unless he can make a jumper.
I think Joel Embiid has a monstrous game tonight.
All right, so I guess you're going over 29.5. Keep in mind, though, this Raptors team gives him a run for his money.
Not tonight.
Ooh, so you're going over on that point total. I think you get to 30. How about a 50 burger?
No.
All right, you go over the 29.5. Ben is at 16.5. Now, if Embiid's going to have 30, does Ben Simmons follow up with something over 16.5?
Yes.
Ooh.
Big night for Ben.
Big enough to say double-double. Yes is -114. No is -107.
Double-double, I'll go no.
Okay. And then Danny Green, I always look at his over-under threes because it cracks me up for being like a three-point shooter. It's 1.5. Do you like the over-under? 1.5 for Danny Green. It almost tells me he's going to have a bad night.
On the threes?
Yeah.
No, he makes 2. They win the night, he makes 2.
Okay, so we're going to go over-under, yes. Now, I thought of this randomly as we were just kind of doing this. Of our 3 Sixers guys, who do you think who would have the better jump shot? Jay Blevins, Paul Hudrick.
McCormick.
Yeah, I could see McCormick having some good swag out there. I feel like he'd look like a Joe Harris. If we went to the courts, he'd come up with like the headband. Like I could see him going like all out arm sleeve.
How tall's McCormick?
That's a good question.
I feel that he's a taller gentleman. I've never actually met him in person. I've seen him on the street.
I actually just Googled Kevin McCormick's size as if that was going to pop up. Because when we talk about athletes, it's like, oh, how tall is he?
Maybe he's listening.
Yeah.
He listens a lot.
Do you think he eats dog food?
No.
I would never. I did last night.
What did it taste like?
I tried the doggy ice cream. It tasted like vanilla ice cream that was watered down. It was worth a shot. The fiance was feeding the dog.
Would you go back? Like if I said, hey, this is a new type of dessert.
And I didn't know it was dog food?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a bite of it. It wasn't that bad.
No. But after tasting it.
Yeah, would you?
And if I said, hey, here's a new dessert, and it tastes like that, but you didn't know that, you would, and like.
I wouldn't know that
eating it.
Right, I wouldn't know it was dog
And you would just keep eating it.
Probably, yeah.
Like if you didn't know it was dog food, would you keep going?
Probably, yeah.
It was that good.
I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't horrendous.
By the way, on The Bachelor last night, one of the girls dumped The Bachelor.
What?
She said, I do not want to marry you. I am out.
Wow.
Yeah. They're down to the final 3. Josh has game night up next. We're out of here.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and